Hello, sorry to jump scare you, YouTube. Hello, how's it going? Hope it's going well for y'all. Not stop streaming. What do I hit? Transition, right. How goes it? Hope you're well. We got Puppy on screen today. She's kind of a blur. Bum, bum, bum. Wait, I have everything turned up so loud. Just so I could hear everyone yesterday. Yeah, just my personal settings. Not even your guys' problem. All my problem. Um guess what? Chicken butt, that's what. I don't know. I don't know how to stream. I've never streamed in my life. Am I live on YouTube? Am I live on YouTube? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. Cool. I like being live on YouTube. It's Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. It feels like a Wednesday. Tomorrow's a Thursday. Yeah. I'm gonna be doing an art stream again. I'm gonna be taking a break from Silksong for a while, I think, just in general, because I got a notification today that my brother has bought me Pokopia. So we're gonna play that next week when it arrives at my house. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do next week. We're gonna do a lot of that. But also, why am I running ads right now? I've got impeccable timing. 8-month sub? That's crazy. Drain, you've been here for 8 months. You're gonna have a stream baby soon. That's crazy. I don't know what I'm doing today. We're probably gonna listen to some audiobooks later. We're gonna continue that. Because I'm gonna be gaming a lot next week probably. Unless I don't like Bookopia. Andy! My goodness, long time no see. Hi, Andy. Smaudiobooks? Smaudiobooks, yeah. Small audiobooks. And I'm gonna work on probably coloring. Well, definitely coloring, because I don't know what else I would work on. I'm not gonna do paintings for y'all. I'm not confident in my painting abilities to do it on stream yet. I've got high school painter energy. I would say. How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm all right. Everyone's asleep. It is. It's been a while. Unfortunately, university life and 4 a.m. streams don't mesh well. That's fine. I mean, I'm glad you're getting sleeps to do your university. Congrats on doing that. You just woke up. Well, good morning to you, or whatever time it is you wake up at. Bog message. The bogs are messaging me. That's crazy. So there's a bunch of pages here that I want to color, but I can't because they're all like this. And we know that these got finished. We just need to find where the finished pages are. And that's going to require looking through Ushi's computer. So I can't do that. I can't do it. I'm not that guy. This one looks done though. Ooh, pardon me. I don't know if we're gonna work on Magpie though. I guess we're probably gonna keep working on Avo. I was doing a bunch of like really simple stuff on Avo earlier. Or last stream. So there's plenty to do. Wait a minute, I can't throw emotes on the PNG tuber? Yeah, PingTube protects me. It protects my skull. It protects my soul. There's nothing you can do to harm me. Ha ha ha. Go back to sleep, Weewa. You're fine. I don't know what you're hearing, but you can go back to sleep. She's up. She's locked in. I think my cat's running around the counters. I'm just trying to make spaghetti. Spaghetti's yummy. It's a nice, easy meal. It's 10:30 for me, so what's wrong with spaghetti for breakfast? There's nothing wrong with spaghetti for breakfast. Don't let haters tell you otherwise. I do try to pop in from time to time to check out how you and Ushi are doing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Even if we don't see each other, that's fine. I was looking, and some people have been in my Discord for like 8 years, and that's crazy. So many years. I didn't expect to be so eepy. I didn't expect to be eepy. I don't know, man. Just didn't expect it, I guess. That's all I can say. Let's work on some of these bubbles, I guess. That's stupid. It must be my cat running around, and my dog is like, what the hell? It must be Miku. Miku's up to trouble. Day 208. I feel like the days are going down. Ugh, pardon me. Me and Drin are in the same time zone. I don't have to translate times to have to, like I have to with PST and add 3 hours. That's true. This is still like the community I ever really got into. So you are indeed very near and dear to my heart. Even after almost 7 years? That's crazy. There's so many of you that grew up watching me. It's wild. And Charlie's in my house now. That's crazy. Changing lives. If she didn't do these to a quality that I like. How long have you been streaming? How long? 14 minutes. It's true. Let's see. I want to know, actually. If we go to back to studio, I should be able to look. Go lives. And then we just go back. Oh. Date. There we go. We switch the direction. Huh. 2015. I've at least been saving streams since 2015, but I think I've been going longer. Like, I've been doing. I know I've done more than just 2015. I was 15, and now I'm getting my bachelor degrees in 6 months. Damn. Because I've been streaming longer than that for sure. Because I also streamed pre testosterone, but I got rid of all those videos, so it's not accurate. But the public record goes back to 2015. Unk, yeah. Oh, Save Anita requires a deer. I can give you a deer. 2-star. Does that mean you weren't always 75% gay? No, that's not what that means. So you're born gay? Yes. Well, I was born 75% gay. YouTube. YouTube. What happened to Skug Skug? He's up in the corner for some reason. I forget why I put him up here. I can hide here. There. He's high now. In height. Yes. High as a kite. Air jail, exactly. Just got him strung up by his tiny little feet. What are you getting your bachelor's degree in? If you don't mind me asking.
This is one beautiful dog you've got here. Would be a shame if it were to be kidnapped.
You leave my dog alone. Another deer? Alright. One star. Why did it go from 100 points to 800 points? Because I like the quiet. It's called inflation. The economy's crazy. People scug too close to the sun. That's too. At least I have Red Magpie. Education. But I need to finish the linked master's program before I can fully get into teaching. Oh, you're going into teaching. That's cool. A lot of my family are teachers. Wait a minute. Which one is Avo and which one is Magpie? This one is Avo. The one I'm working on is Avo. English and civics, kids 12 to 18. Oh, that's really cool. I have not read Magpie. I did the forwarding. Yeah. What is that manga on? I have to go because of food. But I just received confirmation that Charlie, Bones and Ushi, and Charlie Beagletails are different people. Oh, I see. Good to know. My parents are still trying to convince me to get an additional degree in something like political science. I see. I keep thinking I really need to practice piano. I've just not practiced piano in a long ass time at this point. I'm gonna be so rusty when I get back to it. Naked Dragon Lady? Yes, Avo is the Naked Dragon Lady book. Bum, 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 ba-dum, ba, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba. How could I forget a book has naked dragon ladies in it? How could you? There have also been attempts from them to convince me to pick up art as a degree. I just think they want me to have less free time. Yeah, Ushi's studying right now. She has no free time, and she's just doing a short course in graphic design and web development. Hmm. I think I have to do this all in one swoop. Makes sense. Ba-dum bum. Womp womp womp. Poor Charles not feeling well or something. Tired, eepy. He went to bed early though, so that bodes well. He's got a lot on his plate, and he do be stressing. Because he didn't stream this week, did he? I guess there's Friday still. According to Twitch recap, he streamed zero. I was looking at my recap of my guy recap, and mine also said that. It said I watched 0 hours and streamed 0 hours. So something's happening with the recap thing. From my experience, a lot of courses are kind of all or nothing. Either you have 5 days of free time or you get swamped with work. Yeah, she's in a pretty intensive program, but hopefully it helps her get a new job. Poor Ushi. She deserves it. She's such a good artist. She works so hard. Hard. Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, I've just been excited to play Pokopia. I'll be real. I've just been thinking about that all day. Even though it won't arrive until next week. I wasn't interested in the game at all, and then I heard that it was like Viva Pinata, and now I'm like, finally something to scratch my Viva Pinata itch. I love Viva Pinata so much. It's one of my favorite games. I just don't know how to play it off of the Xbox 360, you know? I think there's some way to get your hands on it. I don't know. All I can say with my technical know-how, I was gonna blame your name change, but I think now you might want to blame the abnormal length of February compared to other months. Less than 30 days? I don't know about that. Because I definitely streamed a lot in February, and you were here for a lot of it. I still haven't played Octopath Zero. Oh, I've been so busy. I got taxes coming up. I hate taxes. I don't want to do my taxes. Guys, don't make me do my taxes. I just want to draw things. Keep my fingers crossed for her. She deserves things to work out well. You all do. Aw, thank you. Hello, little mango art. Hope you're doing well. What layer am I on? I mean, it's gotta work out eventually, you know? And then we're gonna head back and add all the tails. I think we need to make the script a little bigger. What the hell is happening? It's Miku. She's crazy. Katsune Miku is on the prowl. Watch out. As much as I want Pokopia, I cannot get it for a while since I haven't been working. Due to badly spraining my wrist, my job requires working with hands. No, I'm sorry. That's awful. Yeah, I definitely couldn't afford Pokopia. Because I just don't have money, but my brother buys me video games. I have a nice brother who will I didn't even ask. He just bought it for me. He's just like, you stream and have a Nintendo Switch too. You should stream the hot new game. And then he'll just buy it. He wishes me well in my streaming career. Excited for Gen 10? Of course. I've never played. I didn't play any of the Pokemon that came out on the Switch. I have Legends Arceus, but I haven't played it yet. And I was I liked Pokemon ZA, but it got really repetitive really quick. So I'm interested. I'm very intrigued by Gen 10. And we'll see as more comes out. Pombon. I can't decide what starter I'm going to choose. I have a feeling like the Gecko is going to evolve into something I like. I feel like the Gecko is more likely to evolve into something girly pop. And I tend to like the girly pop starter. Like I'm a big Primarina fan. You're excited for Ben 10. Primarina is actually my favorite typing. Water Fairy. Water Fairy is pretty cool. The Gecko definitely has enough sass for that kind of evolution. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm not someone who likes to spoil myself for like evolutions, but at the same time, once I know the evolutions, I definitely pick my starter based on what they evolve into more than um what they initially look like. Cause like I love Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise hate that thing. I'm just not a Blastoise boy. I found a Therian. Hmm. X the D? What? All just pure speculation to get good understanding. I would need to crack Twitch open like an egg. And they wouldn't be too happy. It's a joke? Okay. Like, I'm a furry streamer, but I do feel weird when I do my art streams because I draw a lot of human people. Me and Ushi be drawing lots of humans. Hey, Demo. I think I feel it most when I'm doing art tags. Oh, I guess that's an ad. So you're a furry who streams art, but not a furry art streamer? You know what? That's kind of true. I'm like 25% furry art streaming, I feel like. You are creating representation for the non-furry minority of your community. Yeah. Because sometimes we work on 9 point, but that's not the majority of what we do. Most of my work is very furry adjacent, though, you know? I wouldn't have guessed. I just. She's a scaly, right? In a way. She does turn into a big dragon. Okay. Let's start coloring in this table. Big dragon lady. She do be a big dragon lady. She turns into like a really big dragon. Here, let's look. One sec. I need to hide my screen. I'm always conscious that I don't reveal NDA stuff. I am playing with fire by having it on my computer here. But I don't have money for a second iPad, you know? Just want to find more Farias. What is this? We need to find... Here, we can show it now. That's fine. We need to find where she becomes a dragon. So I can show you that she's big. I wonder if we'll get to that part. Oh my god. I thought it was sooner. Chapter 10? I don't think it's chapter 10. I think chapter 10, she's kind of... There's an actual book? Yeah. Yes, I wrote a book. It's a book version. That's the audiobook we've been reading. Okay, what's chapter 11? How many chapters is it until she turns into a dragon? Like, give me dragons, please. Dwagon, 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 dwagon. If we get to chapter 12 and there's no dragon, I'm moving on. Still not a dragon. Okay. Okay, I'll go back to it later. I tried to convert my comic into vertical scroll format for Webtoon, but it was really painful to do. Heard it's way worse doing it the other way around. Yeah, it's way worse doing it the other way around. And I don't know. I tried to conform to vertical scroll for a while, and I just hate Webtoon. I'm just not a Webtoon guy. I feel like there's maybe better ways for me to get people to read my comic. I'm a huge Comic Fury stan, as one should be. Okay, so this is just like this. I think a lot of League players would try and convince you a big lady turning into a dragon isn't a scaly, but I don't think the opinions of League players carry much weight. It's definitely furry adjacent, you know. There's a lot of things that are quite furry adjacent. There's like a Venn diagram, you know. Webtoon, my beloved. Yeah, same. Um, a lot of things present on this channel come in a spectrum. Yeah, that's a very true statement. It is definitely a channel of spectrums. Oh, Fox. Hi, Stone. Let's get you your Fox. One star. I still can't believe it took me several years in this community before I realized how many of the spectrums I was. Yeah, that that you're not alone in that. I was saying that it's a pretty frequent occurrence for people to come back to me and be like, "Hey, guess what? So many transes and autisms and gays. I certainly had my niche." 8 months and still waiting for my awakening. It's coming, I'm sure of it. Yeah, you got to work on it. I don't know. I feel like my newer audience from the game channel specifically is a lot less gay, but I could be proven wrong. None of us are really surprised. I don't know. Y'all are pretty surprised before watching I right now, aren't I? That's true, but I don't know. You might be the exception to the rule. Gamers. I thought all gamers were gay. Unfortunately, not. What a world it would be if all gamers were gay. I forgot you can look up the songs now. I don't know what I'm looking at here. This is what I was talking about when I was saying that Ushi's gives me so little to work with sometimes. Oh well, she's under a lot of pressure, you know? Okay, and then I'm gonna have to figure out what to color everything in that section. Hmm. Where am I? I got the Painter Nail Master in Hollow Knight. Good job. I was aware of it, kinda. Just took a bit to work out the details. Now look at me. I'm finally having a meeting with a specialist on Friday to hopefully actually start transitioning. Congratulations. It's a lot of work. It took me so long to transition, but now I look back and apparently I had top surgery freaking 5 years ago. 6 years? 7. Almost 7. Almost 7 years ago I had top surgery. That's crazy. Oh my god. 6-7. Haha. You have to figure out what these colors are again. It's by civil duty to 7 every 6, unfortunately. Okay. I mean, if it's your civil duty, like, I don't know. I don't know what I can do. I guess I can't disagree with that. I'm sleepy already. Why am I so sleepy? What happened? When did I get hit with the sleepy ray? Was it one of you guys? I smell mac and cheese. Is this like a sign of going crazy? Or what? I'm hungry and sleepy. Ugh. So far, the most difficult part has been forcing myself to actually arrange things officially. Socially transitioning with friends and at school, easy. Making doctor's appointments, not so much. Yeah, it was a lot harder here just because, like, so many hoops, man. Here was like tons of hoops. It was so confusing, and no one knew what was going on. I had to be a freaking crash test dummy on that whole thing. Hey, Kairos. Welcome. We're busy drawing comics. I'm waiting until I get super sleepy, and then I'll bust out bedtime story Ushi and then lock in completely on art as she regales us with stories. In other words, Bones had to walk so others could run. For real. I didn't want that to be my life. At least I wasn't like the first trans person having surgery or whatever. Like, what's her face? Oh, what's her name? Man, I don't know trans history at all. Frick. Oh god, what's her name? 1940s. She was a war veteran. 1940s? Yeah. What's her name? 1940s trans woman. Christine Jorgensen. Jorgensen? American actress and transgender activist. Was drafted into the army during World War II. Served as a military clerical worker. During this time, she learned about sex reassignment surgery, traveled to Europe, where in Copenhagen, Denmark, she obtained special permission to undergo a series of operations in 1951. There you go. Oh, no Danish? Well, I don't know if she was Swedish or Danish. She just went and got surgery there. Like, I think she was the first person to do that. So far, I have a consultation scheduled, but I do have a friend from school who got his first consultation 2 years back and already has his name changed and has been on tea for a while. Yeah, when I went in for my consultation, I immediately got tea, but I had a kind of reckless doctor, so that was a thing. Her name is definitely from the Swedish, Denmark, Scandinavian area, so it seems plausible, or at least at the very least, her family can be traced back there. That would that makes sense. I'm just saying it probably doesn't fully relate to everything, but a little bit, I guess so. Because she was also like a popular actress. And I believe speculations about her and stuff are kind of the impetus for like the early conservative talk radio, like the proto Alex Joneses and stuff. We're talking about her. 2.5 years, but still. I mean, each step, you know? If you'll excuse me, I have to figure out how to process the information that trans people have existed since the 1940s. They've existed longer because there was the freaking emperor, big quotes, who wanted to be called an empress and was offering people large sums of money to to give her a vagina. Like she is the most trans woman to ever trans. Oh, who's that one? Had to work through some stuff where I felt like I am falling behind and could have been much further in my transition if I didn't procrastinate. I mean, that's fair, but testosterone do be one hell of a drug, right? You don't have to. That shit'll hit you like a bus, like no matter when you take it. That is the trans experience of being a baby longer. The emperor reportedly wore makeup and wigs, preferred to be called a lady and not a lord, and supposedly offered vast sums to any physician who could provide him with a vagina by means of incision. That's just the most trans person to trans, okay? You see, are you sure it was a Chinese emperor? No, it wasn't a Chinese emperor. I didn't say it. I didn't mean to say Chinese if I did. So Rome. Rome? Yeah. They died when they were 18. I can't pronounce any of these words. But just look up transgender empress and you'll learn all about her. Good on her, right? I don't know. Just you can't apply you can't apply modern gender understandings to the past because every society has a different understanding of gender because gender is a social construct and you literally just can't overlay things. But goddamn, that is a transgender woman, okay? It's just that's one of those cases where it's like, well, that's pretty cut and dry. The fact that it's speculation. Yeah. The good thing is that since I'm 22, I'm apparently starting to pass like a teenage emo guy, which is very much acceptable. Well, that's good. Oh, get your noms. Om nom nom. I was coloring in cups. Their cups just vanish at a certain point, you know? That's it's fair. It's valid. Why'd she have to pronounce such pick such hard to pronounce names? Like, don't even try Boney. Save your brain power. Yeah, I'm not trying that. But yeah, trans people have been around a long time. As long as there's been genders to trans, people have been transing them. There's a channel called We Have Always Existed Transgender History. Just watched a video about this the other day. I'm very much enjoying the Dragon Lady. You and Juliet both. I just need to figure out what the color of the freaking coasters are. Because they probably picked a color for them, and I just don't know what it is. Man, I want peach drink. I don't want water. I want peach drink. You know, I'm done with water. I'm done with being good. I want to be bad. I have drank so much peach drink today, though. Okay, if I drink it all now, I won't have peach drink for later. You know, but I could have it right now, and that's a very tempting prospect. It'd be really neat. Peaches are good though. You know what? You've convinced me. I'm getting peach drink. I'll be right back. Peach drink acquired. Peach Peaches are so delicious. It's just like flavored water. I probably should take like a headache pill. I feel like the snake in the Garden of Eden. That's true. I would so easily doom all of humanity or whatever. Whatever that lady did. Oh, someone's awake. Oh, blip. It's like dad adjusted the camera. Maybe I should change my position. No. So cute. What the hell? Why is she being so cute? That's my baby girl right there. Okay, I'm gonna just hide my iPad real quick and try and figure out what these coasters are supposed to be colored. Oh, that paw over her face. I know, she's so cute. Right. There you go. I got the coaster. What did I miss? Not much. Not much at all. I got the coasters. Coasters have been obtained. Hmm. Juliet forgot the drinks. What the hell? What the hell, Juliet? Those are so expensive. Hee hee. It is men's toilet time. It's not by Bleach though. It's just who uploaded it. It's from Corpse Party, the OST. Trying the new big Arc product. Now I want peach drink too. Oh no. You snake have convinced yourself. You're telling me a laundry detergent uploaded this song? I don't think is bleach a detergent. Is it what defines a detergent? No. What is a detergent? A water-soluble cleansing agent that combines with impurities. Okay. So bleach just kind of breaks down impurities, where a detergent combines and. Okay, that makes sense because that's what dish detergent is. I'm not a washing machine, but I don't think bleach is a detergent. I didn't think so either, but it's good to know what a detergent is. So it's something that combines with like dirt particles and then it gets rinsed away with them, whereas bleach breaks things down and like whitens and kills things. I don't know. I'm someone who has when I have a question, I gotta look it up, man. That's how you get more knowledgeable. Definitely know why McDonald's CEO didn't actually eat it in the video. Oh, the new big arch. Oh, that's McDonald's. I see. Is it the pickle burger? Do they still have those? Ursula got me one of the pickle burgers. It was all right. I just realized that could be interpreted so badly. Patapon. Pom patapon. Yeah, hey. I don't want this song. I want to listen to the Beans song. Can I go listen to the Beans song? I might turn back to these songs later when I'm because I don't really like songs with lyrics when I'm doing the audiobooks. But we're not right now, so we could listen to the other things. And I'll listen to the Beans song. Where is it? There we go. This is what I want. I've just been having this on loop recently. Not a pickle burger. That would be better than this. What did you eat? Beans. Okay, that's all I wanted. Oh, it's a big arch burger. It's a new burger, like a Big Mac, but with poppy seed and sesame bun. I couldn't hear the music on YouTube, so now I'm here. Yeah, I have the music turned off on YouTube so that I don't get demonetized. Also, I do like the option for people to turn off the music because I'm someone who likes listening to my own music while I watch streams. Go, go. Okay. Let's just do everything in this scene. And then we can do the next scene later. A capybara. I'll get you a capybara. Coming right up. 1 star. I don't think we're ever going to see a 5 star again. Oops. I do feel like I'm at the point of locking in, so I might listen to some audiobooks really soon. It's right around the corner, is all I can say on that front. Lock in. I'm so locked in. I've gotten a lot of work done today. I did a bunch of writing work, so I think I can actually start working on writing again. Because I was doing outlining. I was doing some outlining today. Yeah, I'll just do up to the point where they. Oh my god, I cannot tuck in as much as I want here. Yay, now I can listen to Shadow the Hedgehog OST while interacting with the deer. There you go, see? I do not want a clipping mask. I want to make it multiply. Yeah, I'll just do this portion of the scene. Okay, I'm not doing the crowd scene. Heck that. Ah, you got some points to spend. A parrot? Ooh, that's novel. 1 star. Oh, you can't pet the deer right now. I'm sorry. Should have saved for Skug. I'm only petable in VTuber mode. I had enough for that, but I wanted to add the burp. Oh, tell me that pat for next time. That's true. I need to learn how to um re- return the money. It's not that big of a deal though, obviously. It's silly internet points. $2 points. Need at least 9. Okay. Quick, what are the 9 points? Who in class can tell me? I don't know. Ask the calico? I would never ask a calico anything. They're liars and deceivers. Oh, wait. How do I do this? Me forgetting how to make gradients, and it's like this, right? And then you just do a Gaussian blur. Nailed it. Like resignation to the end, ever the end. Mm. The problem there is it's gonna... It should be cutting it up more, right? There we go. Just I've been in Clip Studio too much. I don't know how to use Procreate anymore. Blue, chocolate, lilac, cinnamon, flame, cream, seal, lynx, and fawn. There you go. If I could award you points for that, I would. A bunny for Sandy. I can get you a bunny. One star. She's so cute. I think that's done. Yay, one page done. Someone might have to chat what rarity I got because I won't be able to hear. It was one star. If anyone wants to tell them, I could too, but I would have to move my iPad and type and one side. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Dr. Inari. Daddy wants to work at Nintendo. Daddy got fired from Sega. Now Daddy wants to work at Nintendo. Okay, time to blur these two. All right. Um, not needed. I became a bit of a nerd into like cat fur patterns and binged a bunch of those genetically accurate warrior cats videos. Listing points is fun. Hell yeah. You have a black brush folder for 9 point? Yeah. I do it for each comic. I have Sovereign, 9 point. It's just like the two I used, and then Magpie. Magpie has the most for some reason. I guess Avo has more variety. It's just like the core brushes that I use. What the fuck is Sovereign? You're not a real one. If you don't know Sovereign, you're just not a real one, and I'm sorry, I can't make you into a real one. Oh, shit. Shit. Big ol' motherfucking duffel bag of shit. All day, all shit. I didn't mean to erase Juliet up here. Oopsies. Hopefully we can go back in time enough. to save her. Okay, we can't. Okay. We'll have to be more careful. Here we go. Already starting his woman hate today? Am I? I have a comic named Painting. It's true. What a horrendous thing to kiss, Juliet. You take that back. She's trying to convince herself she's not gay. Okay? And it's totally working. This page needs a lot of work. Okay, I'm gonna go washroom and then I'm gonna come back and I think we're gonna listen to some audiobook stuffs. I'll try and remember. I'll try and give you guys a recap of the story. I just remembered I originally came onto stream because I was working on a mood board for an NPC and needed something to listen to. Well, I hope your mood board's going well. Okay. I'm just gonna put some instrumental music on. Bone Depot, perfect. Okay, where did we leave off? I think we were in chapter 7. I think. Okay. So we're reading the Books of Avo, which is the comic I am currently drawing, but also it's a novel. Or was it the chapter before? We'll never know. I don't know what comes before 7, so I can't help you with that. So yeah, we read so far. It's basically it's about our lovely lady Juliet, who has been spying on immortals and gets herself swept up into a little adventure with a dragon here. A kissy adventure? They haven't kissed or anything yet. But Juliet is cursed. She's got a little plant in her ear. Basically, there's magical sages. Oh wait, is there an ad rolling? Well, it sucks. It sucks to suck, I guess. I just kind of am reworking it because the other ones started looking too simple. Very cool. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Um, yeah, they're having to gather the seven sages together because when you gather the seven sages together, you're able to rewrite the laws of the universe, which were written by all the spirits and gods. So seven sages, get them together, rewrite it. Um, we've got the wind sage, Aaron, who's a little bean. We've got Earth sage, Tria, who's a freak. Um, we've got Juliet, who's just a lady who's swept up in this. She's going to be the scribe because you need one non-sage on the team in order to rewrite the laws. Feria's Sage of Fire. So right now, Juliet and Feria are trying to convince the king and princess to join them because they're the light and dark sages. However, the princess is in waiting to be executed because she tried to kill her brother, the king. So that's not going well. And they're not doing a great job convincing them to keep her alive and stuff. And Aaron and Tria are trying to find the water sage who vanished. I think that's what's happening. I'm sure you can keep up. If not, all the VODs are on my channel, or you can just buy the book if you got money, because it does exist and stuff. I don't know. It's just cozy to listen to, and I'll get lots of work done, and we can all lock in. I'm a big fan of going to book readings. This is our little storytime Ushi. She's gonna read to us. That means I need to get an income. I'm sorry. I mean, you can go back and read the VODs. Listen to it in the VODs, though. The VODs still exist. It's just a little bit of a pain in the ass to get through. So I think we were on 7. I guess we will figure that out. This is a bit loud. The music. Gonna turn it down a smidgen. Yeah, it should all be on my YouTube, McKay and Gray. This is the book that has Lul in it. My beautiful OC, whom I love. Okay, let's see if 7 is the one.
Chapter 7. The star covered the country sky. On either side of the automobile, grain drooped in the iridescence. Spring fawns cleaved to their mothers as they made wary eyes at the foreign sky. The floating city made a rotation across the land every year.
No, we read this.
Does not need to sleep? Of course not. Though that isn't to say.
Oh, yeah, we'd read this one because it ended with Feria at Juliet was talking to the king after they had like a big after Feria had a big outburst with Selene, who's like his fiance. Feria stirred a bunch of bullshit, and Juliet fixed it, and then Feria showed up at the end. Okay, so we did finish 7. So I think it's 8 we're on, actually.
Chapter 8. The maid swept ash from the throne room. Selene stood on the stone steps next to King Asler. The room was heavy with smoke. Ashes stuck inside her nostrils, only serving to make things worse.
Wait, did we
The
read
dragon's
this
tantrum
too?
clung to her. King Asler sat on his throne, still quiet. I'm
I
going to
think we might have read that one too.
revision. She'd surely cause more chaos. Juliet thought about it carefully. Maybe you could speak to Feria about this?
Yeah, that's where we. Okay, damn, we're farther than I thought.
Chapter 9. The king sat across from the dragon.
Yeah, this is definitely where we're at. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Oh. All right, let's lock in. Ushi, tell us stories.
His fear caused him to check his guards every other minute. They stood at attention, feigning strength. If Feria truly wanted to cause trouble, they would be no help. She leaned forward across the dining table, elbows landing hard on the vera wood. So, she smiled. Do we talk before or after? Before's fine. He looked down at his empty plate. Good. I like before. She grinned like a feral fox.
Get cozy,
Before
guys.
gets things done. I'm so glad you want to speak after things went not the best, let's say. Sweat beaded on his forehead. Feria laughed. My apologies. Your culture changes too fast for an immortal as old as I. Oh, how old are you, if that's all right to ask? 757, she said before he got the chance to peter off into mumbles, swiftly approaching the 100, though you two will be long dead by then. Juliet gaped. 700? Don't look at me like that. I'm young. I'm not even old enough to lay my egg.
Hi, Pax.
Juliet's nose crinkled. Dragons really lay eggs? Of course we lay eggs, Feria scowled. How about we save this conversation for another time? We can talk all about reproduction back at the hotel.
Oh my god.
Juliet reddened enough to shut her up. Yes, the king mumbled. I can't imagine living so long. And I can't imagine dying so young. So let's talk about the sages. Asler bunched the napkin in his lap. Is it really that bad? You know that he is coming back? She nodded. I'm
Everyone
certain
lays eggs in
when we
Hyrule.
last tried to seal him
Yes.
away, there was a traitor in our midst. She shortened his sentence. Was it the Shadow Sage? Asler moved to the edge of his seat. No, it wasn't. It was the Earth Sage. I'm rarely worried about the Shadow Sage when it comes to the revisions. No more worry than usual, that is. Asler felt a tangle in his gut. You sound like someone who's never met my sister. Feria sighed, resting her head in her palm. The whole point of a Shadow and Light Sage is for them to balance each other out. By possessing these powers, it's your sacred duty to keep your sister in line, just like it's her duty to keep the Fallen at bay. Asler's shoulders sank. I understand that, but I've never been a match for my sister. Really? Feria glared. You defy the very nature of the books of Avo, do you? I'm not sure I know what you mean, Ambassador. Then allow me to enlighten you. You are a match for any Shadow Sage. If you can't find it in yourself to find a balance between you two, maybe it's not she who should be put on the chopping block. His mouth dried. Feria's face was serious, though there was a slight levity to her words. Asler backed up as Feria leaned forward. She stretched her arms, her scales shifting with her as she relaxed her chin into her hands. What? You don't think so?
Hi, Ors. I'm still at work another hour minimum. Oh no. I'm sorry. Ors. We just started reading. I hope you have a good time at work though. You'll have tons to catch up on with the readings and stuff. Alright. Locking back in.
Of course not, but I think I understand. He ran a hand across the dull knife by his plate. Alexandria exists to challenge me, right? She's skilled, competent, and the only reason she's going to be executed is because I can't handle her. Yes. The hard line of Feria's lips softened. None of this makes her a good person, I assure you. Just the perfect Shadow Sage. Asler nodded as much as he could muster. I'll talk to Celine about it, but I don't know where she'll stand. Please, and do tell her that I'm not joking. Atalo will return, and this is not to be meddled with. We don't have time for a wild goose chase tracking down the next shadow heir. The king nodded. Of course. Good. Now my maid is in need of a nap, so let's make this meal quick. Feria clapped for the intention of the servants. The blankets were haphazardly spread across the bed. One pillow covered Aurora's head, while another sat precariously on her rump.
Oh, I forgot we saw
When they'd made their
Aurora.
permanent forms thousands of years before, Aurora had made every part of herself perfection. Soft breasts, sweet lips, eyes like dusk. Everything perfect, leaving Lul to wonder if her snoring was on purpose or an oversight. He groaned, draping his legs over the side of his bed. As always, he found a bottle on his nightstand. A glass of something strong was exactly what he needed to soothe the oncoming withdrawal. Pouring himself a glass. "You're naked!" a woman interrupted, glaring at him from his doorway. A momentary
it's the
panic
books of Avo,
dissipated as he
everyone's
recognized her. Her dress was made of authentic dragon scales, crushed into thousands of beads. As she moved, the fringe rattled. The rainbow of colors suggested the death of many. Leah, the spirit of life, the traitor. Can a man not be naked in his own room? Leah strode into the room, making eyes at Aurora. "You're distracted from your job." "Aurora is intoxicating. I'm sorry." "Aurora is a fool." She glared at the woman's shapely legs.
I interrupt
Maybe
your
you should
regularly
tell her when
scheduled
she...
programming to remind
You
you
let
to like the stream if you haven't already.
Thanks, Skug.
Nikki run off. Lul grimaced. "You saw her on the town?" "Saw him. He's going by Nick today, apparently. It's at least a quiet character." "Lucky for you. But why are you wasting your time here?" She scowled in Aurora's direction. "Because I knew you'd be slacking off." "I work in mysterious ways." Lul shrugged. "And you really shouldn't worry over it. The God of Shadows has me at his right hand, does he not? It would be more proper for me to keep my eye on you, light spirit." Leah's expression was like stone, anger burning beneath the stillness. "So what was Nick up to on the town?" "Some new plan? It won't be happening under my watch." "What sort of plan?" "How should I know? He wanted me to give him a key to Serval's gate." Lul grimaced, unsure if he were mishearing it. "Who did you kill to get something like that?" "As if I keep names," she scoffed. "Why would Nick want something like that?" "I don't know. You can't piece him together. But I'm not giving it to him. I need his abilities to help kill some sages." "Fair." Lul yawned, rubbing a hand along Aurora's leg, up toward the precarious pillow. "Really? Right now?" Leah scoffed. "You two are idiots. I wonder how Tallow could have ever made you his right hand." He shrugged, hand resting on the firm butt. "Our plan is to head off any sages that reach Veralibra. It's the long play, but if I kill them right before they reach the Books of Avo, what hope will they have?" "Very smart. That was my plan, too." Aurora purred as she woke up. What's smart?" "Not sleeping with people, Aurora. Do you not know what Italo will do to us if we fail him again? The message was clear. Kill the sages. Nowhere on the note did it say sleep with." "Leah!" Aurora sprang forward. She pushed herself up with her bottom arms, extending the top ones for a hug. As Aurora lamented how long they'd been apart, Lul got off the bed. The women were caught in a near inescapable hug. A hug that Leah suffered through, desperately trying to escape before relinquishing. "You're so gorgeous. I love the dress and your makeup. It could use a little work, but still gorgeous." "You two have fun," Lul said. "And once you're all caught up, you're welcome to use an automobile." As he left, Leah reached out for him. Her fingers quivered, eyes pleading with the hope all impatient dragon slayers have when they're caught up in a hug with the sentimental lust spirit. But even Leah's impatience wavered in Aurora's presence, melting slowly to the touch. Lul smirked and left the room. Outside his bedroom, he was greeted with a portrait of a stunning man. He gave him a smile and headed to find the clothes he'd left in the washroom. The drunken haze made it difficult to remember the exact one they'd used. Just as he remembered, they'd stumbled to the bedroom after a soak in the tub. He recognized their towels thrown outside the room, one sopping wet and warping the hardwood. Before remembering how empty his house was, he almost left them for a servant. Instead, he lifted them from the floor, taking the driest of the two to wrap his waist. The door was already ajar as he pushed it open. He stumbled back when he caught someone inside, a young man with black hair and a sharp suit. The man was examining a pile of clothes left on the floor. "Nick, that you?" "Yeah." "This is an interesting character." He smiled, leaning against the door. The young man was unassuming, a teenager with a voice at the cusp of breaking. I like it. Quiet so far. So, what's this I hear about needing keys? I thought you prided yourself on never needing keys. They aren't for me. They're for the princess, Nick said dryly. Lul scowled. Princess? She's locked in the exile's dungeon. I know that, but why let her out? She's already on death's row. Nick looked away, hand tracing over the suit jacket. There was a slight redness to his cheeks. Wait, Lul paused. You have a crush on the princess. He snapped his head away. As long as one of the sages can't make it, they still lose. When this happen? Does she know about you? Or are you planning to swoop in and be her hero? No, she knows. We met when I was doing my job. He glared at Lul. I was investigating the Shadow Sage and, well, I was shocked that a human could have intelligence of any kind, let alone at a level she did. I am equally baffled. Shut it. I didn't abandon my post like you. When I got the word from Italo, I didn't hesitate to make an attempt on that idiot king. So you... No, the princess wanted to do it. I let her. Nick rolled his eyes. Unfortunately, someone got in the way of that. Lul couldn't help smiling. Now Leah's pressing a thumb on me. Don't you dare say anything. I'm not about to make a run for it. Oh? Lul couldn't help but smile. Maybe I could distract her. Nick said nothing, but looked Lul in the eyes. What? I'm excellent at distractions. Nick shook his head. That's not it. I don't understand you. Leah's plan is perfect, and mine's emotional and foolish. I like emotional and foolish. Nick's brow furrowed. Besides, you'd only serve to hinder Leah. She's a talented assassin, and you know, maybe it's not the time. I'll distract Leah. You run off and find your girlfriend. Lul pushed open the bathroom door, spreading an arm to beckon the young man to the hall. He made slow steps, using each moment to inspect Lul's expression. Fine, Nick said as he finally passed. But I don't see how you plan to distract her, or how you'll get the key off of her. He winked at Nick. The sounds of pleasure carried down the hall.
So Nick's the lady we met, Nikki. In case you didn't realize, it's the lady everyone sums for at the beginning who kisses Juliet. She was actually kissing the princess. Also, she's a shapeshifter, so she can also be a dude named Nick, I guess. There you go. That's just in case we didn't remember what was happening. It's been a while.
Steam spread from a teapot at the table's center. The herbal aroma spread through the cottage's single room. The room was crowded. Sindrith, Tria, Aaron, and Uncle Leo bunched around the small table. But the smell of herbs comforted the claustrophobia, blanketing the room with coziness. Aaron breathed in deeply, focus drifting to Uncle Leo. The man sat across from Aaron, an angel feather between two fingers. From the moment Aaron handed him the feather, Leo was cautious. Beside him, Sindrith crumpled his feather in a closed fist. As he leaned forward, he rested his head in his hands and pressed it to his face. Would you like a cup, Miss Deadwood? Leo took up the teapot with his free hand. She looked away from the window. We don't have time. Ah, like your mother, Leo hummed, pouring 2 glasses. So, this visit is strictly business? A sage thing, perhaps? Tria said nothing, the only visible emotion showing through in a twitch. You knew her mother? Aaron spoke up. Not personally, but she made the history books. As any sage does, Tria replied curtly. We're looking for Kara. Aaron says that you know her. Leo furrowed his brow, a tension building between them. I wasn't speaking of sagehood. Or are you somehow unaware of your mother's vile deeds? That she went on to finish your father's slaughter? That she would sell out the entirety of her people in order to save herself? Aaron shot forward, attempting to diffuse the tension. Uncle, Tria is on our side. She's the one Viren sent me to meet with. The scowl remained strong on Leo's face. Viren may be a friend of mine, but that doesn't mean I approve of his character judgments. He still acts a friend to many of the shadow spirits, and it must be stressed that he was the one that wished to give Italo a second chance. The chance which enabled him to enact his slaughter. Uncle, Aaron continued, we can't say that Tria is the same. If we're going to root through pedigree, should we ignore our own? Why did you save Sindrith? What's that supposed to mean? Sindrith interjected. I mean that Uncle Leo has told us about your grandmother, and Meathriel would have had Sindrith killed if she knew of him. That's the difference. Uncle Leo interrupted. Do you know that Tria's father wants her alive? Aaron asked, gut feeling uncomfortable as he obscured the truth. She's an elf. More still, you haven't even heard about our quest, Uncle. Fine, what is this quest? Leo continued to scowl. We're seeking to unite the sages. Italo has a plan to rise once more. Tria's discovered that plan. She told us as soon as she could. Now we're going to stop it. Uncle Leo was silent. He stared into his tea, but somehow he handled the information better than Aaron ever could. Is that so? He finally spoke after taking a sip. It's true. The reason that we came here is to ask for your help locating Kara. Why do you need her? We're looking for the water sage. She's vanished. I understand. Uncle Leo nodded along. Though, I'm certain Kara wouldn't know much about Rain. Sindrith snorted. Wait, the water sage's name is Rain? Leo gave Sindrith a pointed look. She likely passed with the rest of the elves. In which case, who knows who it is now? Worry panged Aaron. For a moment he held his tea, allowing its warmth to spread through him. Enveloped by the aroma, he brought the cup to his lips. The gentle flavors flowed, washing away the nervous flutters inside him. I only need access to the goddess's grove. Tria broke the silence. Anyone who knew her would be there. Uncle Leo grimaced. The problem is, I don't know if I can get in contact with Kara. So this was a waste of time. Perhaps, Leo sighed. But we won't know until tonight. What happens tonight? Aaron asked. Tonight we will have a conversation with the stars. It's the only true way to speak to Kara. If she listens, your time won't have been wasted. Aaron furrowed his brow. How likely is it that it will work? It's near impossible when the sky is hazy, but that shouldn't be a problem with your powers, Arison. While Aaron nodded, he felt sick. His powers. That was a completely different discussion. Is something wrong, Arison? Aaron shook his head. Just tired. Fidget was doing better. The fox lay in her bed, resting up, regaining her strength. With a small yawn, she buried her face deeper into her tail. Asler stroked her fur, and as always, was struck by how small she was. How could someone hurt you? He brushed back her ears, eyes closing in response. But you're safe. No, she's not. Not while Alex is alive. Not while you keep failing as the light sage. The fox's eyes opened once more, watching her master. Like most creatures, she was sensitive to tension, acutely aware of anxiety. Though, even the oblivious couldn't miss the tension in his hands, the trembling fingers. Asler, how's she doing? Celine said. Asler shot up, jerking his hand from the fox. Celine stood at his door, looking more herself than the day before. No more dress or jewels. Instead, she wore simple clothes, one of her long skirts and a loose-knit cardigan.
Oh, good night,
She walked
Stone.
through the doorway, fabric swaying against her
Sleep
long
good.
legs. As she reached his side, Asler's whole body relaxed. He found his hand in hers and said, She's doing much better. Then why do you look so sad? Asler's shoulders sank. He tricked himself into thinking Celine couldn't feel his sadness in that acute girlfriend way. As he lowered his head in shame, she followed his gaze. They watched their tangled fingers, Celine circling his palm with her thumb. The touch, so soft, coaxed a well of fresh tears. Celine said nothing, bringing him close. Why am I so weak? He muttered into her neck. The Queen's loss has been hard for everyone. He shook his head. I don't mean that. I'm a failure as the Light Sage. If I can't handle Alex, what stops the next Shadow Sage from being 10 times worse? Alexandria is my equal.
Sorry, the
She should
music.
be my perfect match. We're twins. Alexandria belongs in the ground. Maybe. Asler pulled back. But it doesn't matter. It's not about her. I spoke with the dragon yesterday. She told me about the balance of power, the same stuff Mom would talk about. What if I never learn to manage the shadows? What if Alex is my test, and killing her is only failing myself? What if the Fallen... I don't care if it's a test. Celine's lip twitched. Anyone that so much as lays a hand on you deserves their head severed. That's it. And that's the last time I will ever debate this with you. With anyone. But Celine, what if the dragon is right? What if we never find her heir? I will handpick her heir. If it takes breaking every bone in her pathetic body, I will do it. Celine. No, her expression remained intense. She tried to kill you. Kill you. His head lowered in a nod. I'm going to talk to her now. Watch Fidget. Focus on holding the Fallen back. I can handle your sister. I want you to be safe, Asler. She wants you to feel bad about yourself. That's the way she wins. With a quick squeeze of his hand, she parted.
Patapon. Oh my goodness. I always forget about Celine. I'll be completely real with you guys. We're going on a kissy scene. It does help me lock... sorry, I didn't mean to blow ears there. It does help me lock in. So I say we move on. Chapter 10. Let's go.
Chapter 10. Feria relinquished the hotel bed so that Juliet could have her mortally required sleep. In the meantime, the dragon said she'd unwind on the dance floor. She sat in front of the mirror, fixing her makeup. The two of them were on the king's clock, awaiting his decision. There was a tense air. Juliet hoped Feria would be better behaved if she got out for a spell. Honestly, all Juliet cared about was resting her eyes. She dropped onto the mattress, nestling in the sheets like a baby bird. It felt like the softest bed she'd ever lain in, though that could have been her aches and pains talking. She rested her eyes a second. And then she was in her nightmares. She was back in her apartment. The walls of the building were a void. Thick sludge clung to her shoes, pooling over her ankles and sticking to the skin beneath her stockings. She fumbled forward in the darkness, dragging her heavy dress with both hands. The golden plate of 2A glinted ahead of her, a beacon. She followed it, the hall stretching with every step she took. She extended her fingers, her arms. A voice boomed in her head, the same shadow. My daughter, the elusive, the mysterious, just like your mother. Juliet wavered before flicking the invasive sludge from her fingers. She attempted to get her bearings, but such was near impossible in a dream. I wouldn't know, Miss Deadwood replied from 3A. I never was given a chance to meet her. Juliet stiffened at the sound of Miss Deadwood, the details sliding into place slowly. Juliet froze as it came to her. This wasn't some shadow spirit. It was a god. A tallow. As panic struck her, she reached 2A. The door was open, the voices carrying down from 3A. Your mother would have loved you, a tallow replied. Unfortunate she had to die. Such is nature's course. Elves don't die of natural causes. Sickness and wear are not the only acts of nature. Retribution, betrayal, whatever Viren and his ilk decided was fair game. Were your spirits not the ones that crafted death? The spirit of death, she betrayed me. My case rests. The spirits speak of her betrayal very little. I'm embarrassed to say that I don't know what she did. I'm glad they have little to say. She is the reason that we may only meet as we do. Robbed me the chance to raise you, for you to watch my plans unfold. As he trailed off, Juliet held her breath. The silence was long, held like a weapon to her throat. It was done. I had the sages, fire, water, and your mother. But it was my fault that I was too distracted by success. Lul was instructed to deal with them, so that they wouldn't pass their powers off. A torment I am acquainted with. But before the sages of fire and water could be dealt with, Lenora set them free, all of them. What do you mean? I mean, she freed your mother as well. She made it so that the sages would reach Vera Libra. If not for your mother, Lenora would have imprisoned me for the rest of time, and that is why she received her due. Then why did you punish them all? Because if I should suffer 300 years, they should suffer with me. Maybe with their second chance they will try harder not to fail. Miss Deadwood was silent. I'm sorry. This can't be what you came here for, he softened. And I doubt you're here to chat nothings. Not my daughter. Again, she remained quiet. You look ill, Tria. Is everything all right? There was no reply. A nod? A head shake? Juliet entered the apartment, slime clinging to her feet and pulling her back. She pulled until she was free, stumbling forward. The room was endless. There were no walls. The door vanished. Only a small space remained where deformed furniture lingered. Above, the roots were still, hanging like dead serpents. I don't want to fail you. I want to know what you're planning. Of course, said the shadows. But I have a question first. Whose dream is this? The roots gripped Juliet. Her dress caught in the tight plants, ripping as they held tighter. Miss Deadwood stomped across the floor above, dangerously close to Juliet. Juliet bit her cheek, trying her best to not utter a peep, not a single noise. It's my dream. This is where I live, Tria responded, and the root stilled. You have nothing to worry about. I can hardly imagine that, Otello laughed. A time where we need not worry. It would be an oddity. Things move as they should. The spirits make their move toward the other sages. I wonder if they've noticed your mother's edit yet, or will this return be a surprise? Miss Deadwood nodded slowly, gaze drifting to the floorboards. Her eyes locked on Juliet, bitter, green eyes, shimmering despite the dark. Snap! Juliet heard the roots before she felt them. They dug into her dress, wrapping her body and crushing her bones. When she tried to scream, nothing came out. She shot up in the hotel room, gasping for breath. Even awake, the pain continued. Vines pulsed beneath her skin like green veins. A mass of new plants clogged her throat and strangled her breath. She clawed the sprouts from her mouth as something rippled her shoulder. Just in time to scream, she ripped them out. Huh? Feria appeared at her side. Juliet felt her shoulder, fingers slipping through slick blood. Large leaves grew from her pores, the burning worse than anything she'd felt before. Tracing her finger along her back, she could feel a stiff ridge. Juliet, are you okay? The dribbling blood made her dizzy, but Juliet mustered a nod. The dragon inspected her shoulder before placing her hand on its opposite. Staring deep into her, pupils wide, Feria steadied Juliet's quivering body. Juliet broke into a scream. She coughed hard as blood trickled down her back, pressure building behind her eye. Talking about the dream would kill her. Juliet, are you okay? Feria gripped her shoulder. A fire built in her mouth. What in Avo's books are you doing to her? I can't say anything, Juliet managed to speak through labored breaths. Of course you can't. Her scales lit, like she was meeting with Celine again. Whatever she's telling you, I'll handle it. She thinks that she can add a new passage to the books? Think again. I'll murder her. I'll gut her in Vera Libra if a single finger touches those pages. Juliet pushed her back against the baseboard, the dragon's intensity doing more to scare her than the god of shadows. It's not going to happen this time. Feria's breath slowed, smoke leaking from her lips. Tears were forming in her eyes. Feria. Juliet felt the moment of fear melting away. Feria shut her eyes, fighting back the tears before they fell. I shouldn't have sent her off so quickly. It would have been smarter to... She stopped herself, looking at Juliet's wet shoulder. You're injured. Humans need even small injuries cared for, don't they? No, Juliet refused to look at the blood. I'm sure it's fine. What is our plan if we can't find the other sages? It's not your problem. I'll figure out what to do. The dragon continued to stare at her shoulder. Stay there. I'm going to get some towels. Juliet remained in the bed as Feria retreated to the bathroom. Her shoulder hurt, but then again, she'd never been great with paper cuts and splinters either. Wait, she whimpered. You have to have some sort of plan. Now that she was sat in the sunlight, the dream felt darker, scarier, invading the quiet spaces of her thoughts. In the bathroom, she heard the tap running as Feria muttered to herself. When she returned, her arms were full with damp white towels. Juliet winced as the towel touched her skin. In an instant, it was stained red. A smile crossed Feria's face. Beneath the blood, there was little damage, only the skin ruptured by the leaves. The shoulder still ached, but Juliet's stomach softened. That doesn't look too bad, right? Feria asked, clearly out of her depth with human injuries. Yeah. Wait, no. Juliet huffed. This actually is horrendous, Feria. What do we do to heal it? Juliet furrowed her brow. What do you mean? What do humans do to tend wounds? It depends. Juliet raised her arms in a shrug, managing not to lift her
dragon
shoulders.
girlfriend.
Wait and see. Keep things clean. Oh, Feria grimaced. Is this where I learned dragons set themselves on fire to heal themselves or something?
I didn't notice. I had my audiobook player covering up YouTube chat. Hi, Tori. Audiobook Ushi looks so cute. She does. She needs a little chair. That's true. I'll have to ask for that. She's so cute.
Feria giggled. Was that a guess? Wait, am I right? Feria nodded. We crawl deep into the mountain and bathe in the magma. I guess I always assumed that's why humans have all these tubs. I swear that I heard a bath relieves human pains. Maybe a muscle ache? Juliet stifled a laugh. I see. So very strange. Feria smiled a moment, mind clearly drifting back to Miss Deadwood. Perhaps you should get the rest of your sleep. It's only been a few hours. Really? Juliet leaned back slowly, not wanting to hurt her shoulder more. I guess I could try, but I'm sort of scared too. I'll be here for you if you wake up again. Juliet began to blush. Did you get out to dance? Feria shook her head. Got distracted. A lot on my mind, you know. As Juliet nodded, the dragon took a seat next to her. She was a foot from her, warmth radiating out. She looked stern, maybe strong enough to scare off another nightmare. Feria's sharp eyes unsettled Juliet. The moment of anger burnt into her mind.
Very much enjoying the audiobook, the music, and the sounds of birds outside, because it's already morning. Oh, that's my life. Though the birds aren't very loud right now, because it's winter. But yeah.
Would you really kill her? Juliet asked. I told you.
It's cozy.
I dealt with her mother. Feria looked on ahead. If she gives me a reason, I'd kill a Deadwood again.
Oh my god.
Aaron navigated the coziness and clutter. Though Uncle Leo collected very little, he kept all of it. Aaron squeezed past Syndra's old, quote-unquote, room. They'd cleared some of his sprawl since growing up. The old crib served as a shelf, piles of deerskin beneath the dusted crystal mobile. He followed Sindrith out, leaving Tria to nap while they awaited nightfall. The country air cleared his lungs, the smell of an open breeze, of earth and sweat. Over the distant hills, the star clogged the sky. Sindrith's dog howled, hurtling herself through the field. She whipped forward with the gait of a racer.
Oh, one
She
Coco
noticed
would
the
go
fence
hard.
too late into the run, crashing into one of the wooden posts, rolling in an uninterpretable mess of dirt, grass, and fur. Aaron looked back at Sindrith, his face hidden in his hands. Oh, Rennie, he muttered. How old is she? Aaron asked. About a year, he sighed. Born last rotation. Aaron nodded to himself. Both their gazes shifted to the imposing city beyond. Sindrith shivered. That thing creeps me out. I can't believe you used to live there. Me neither. Sindrith sighed again, making his way to the dog. It had quickly recovered from its mistake and was now eagerly pacing behind the fence. Following Sindrith's lead, they jumped the fence, avoiding the wire. Anyways, Sindrith said, petting the dog, you still need to catch me up on things. Nothing's happened here since you left.
It's like
You
blood.
got a dog. I mean, I guess Rennie's a little interesting. Sindrith grinned. The breed look familiar to you at all? Erin squinted at the dog. She did look a lot different than the usual farm dogs. Though she didn't know how to use them, her legs were long and elegant. She looked more sighthound than herder. She's part Tenorar, Sindrith smiled. Apparently some angel thought bringing their dog down to the village would be a good idea. I mean, I guess their dog had fun. Erin grimaced. That probably didn't go well. Yeah, Leo found the dam and her pups by the river. I don't know if the angels found out, or if the owner panicked. Either way, the lot of them were dead and cold. Well, Rennie aside. Leo took her back. I raised her up. That's the story. Huh, that sounds like you two. Erin started to smile. Leo's such a sap for that sort of thing. Sindrith nodded. He really is. Oh, of course he acts like he hates this dog. Yeah, I believe that. I've missed it here. Okay, you've missed it. But that doesn't mean I don't want details. You were off in the big city, and I'm here in the middle of nowhere. I'd kill to be somewhere else. Our produce has seen more of the world than I have. Erin offered a comforting smile. It's not that exciting. Don't spare my feelings. Just tell me about it. Give me something interesting to dream about for the rest of eternity. Fine. Erin walked down the fields. There really is a lot to talk about. Okay, skip any details about the teas, but I need to know everything else. Aw, but there are so many imports. Ever try moon thistle? It tastes like sitting in the moonlight. It's a wonder how tea can do that. Erin, no tea talk. Fine, Erin sighed. I can hardly wait for you to be a proper angel. Then we can discuss flavor profiles together. Teas, jams, jerkies. I'd rather fall, Sindrith sneered. Come on, there has to be something you can tell me. What's the city like? What's having a job like? The city is pretty awful for an exile. Everyone acts like you're about to turn into a monster at any moment. The job was extra awful. Apparently I was the servant of one of Italo's spirits, and don't you dare tell Uncle Leo that part. Fine, Sindrith huffed. As he deflated, he left a few moments of quiet. Tentatively, he turned back to Erin. Speaking of that part, is that all real? Erin nodded silently. Ugh, you get to do all the fun things, Sindrith groaned. A joking tone added in an attempt to lighten the mood. It's not fun. It's terrifying. Erin looked out across
Bones
the
in
clouds.
chat? I'm good. I'm just chilling. No tea talk. My friends when I'm telling about odd fun facts about testosterone. No tea. Wrong tea. Though Erin is trans. It doesn't really get brought up in this book, but Erin is a trans man. Fun fact. Hi, Sandy. Yeah, we're just getting all cozy. We're just cozy, reading. How about this? I'll get you, dear. Let me get you a deer real quick. But pet the deer doesn't work right now. You got a 1-star. Pet the deer doesn't work, but what if I gave the doggy a pet in return for that one a pet redeem? I'm gonna give the doggy a pet. Hey, you can listen, and I'll put the audiobook on, and I'll give dog a pet. And if you pay for any future pets, I'll pet the doggy for you.
And right now, everything hinges on me using my power, something I still can barely do. I'm sure you can. Sindrith knocked him with an elbow. What's stopping you? Erin stiffened, gaze fixed on the sky, tracing up to the star. He felt like a stone as he looked upon it. Blood and feathers, pain and light. Erin?
Another
Sindrith
deer?
reached to him, but Erin pulled away. If this stuff really bothers you, You could always pass on
I
your
got you a
powers.
deer.
I know I joke, but I
It
could
was
do
1
it.
star.
Not to steal your spot or anything. But you'd rather be here, right? No,
Or no, you
Aaron
gotta...
snapped. I only
No,
want to
that
be
was
here if
an
my
hour
family
ago.
is safe. You can't leave here, Sindrith. You're half-blooded.
I just
The
pulled the
second an
deer.
angel finds out, you'd be dead. And it'd be all my fault. Aaron. Aaron shook his head. He hadn't noticed himself start to cry, but he could feel the tears dripping off his chin. Sorry, I can't let anything happen to you. His cousin got closer, setting a hand down on his shoulder. The same goes to you. You gave us plenty to worry about back here. I'm sorry, but this is what needs to be done. I know, but if you need help, I've got you, okay? Aaron nodded in return. Ahead of them, Rennie bounded, blissfully unaware of anything to come. Her next hours of sleep were dreamless. Juliet fell asleep beside the dragon. While far off from the heat of magma, the warmth radiating from the dragon eased her pain. She caught herself at one moment nestling closer. When she woke up, the dragon was gone. She sat up, wiping her eyes as they adjusted to the morning light. As she went to move, the front door opened. A waft of butter and eggs preceded Faria's entrance. She held a plateful of breakfast in her claws. "You're awake," she grinned. "And here I was getting worried. That was far more than 8 hours." "I had a few to catch up on," Juliet replied. Faria made her way to the bed, eventually dropping down on the mattress's edge. "If that's the case, I'm glad I left. I remembered the food thing." "Food thing?" Juliet scowled as the platter was pushed into her hands. It was enough food for 4. Piles of sausage, eggs, and all varieties of cooked, a rainbow of toasts. "Yes, humans need food. I don't want to delay because your stomach is doing, well, I have no clue. What's it do when empty?" On cue, Juliet's stomach gurgled. "Oh, thank you." "I couldn't remember what you got last time, so I got one of everything." Faria waved her on to eat. Juliet took up a fork, beginning tentatively at the pile of food. The dragon watched her intently, gold glints following her fork to her mouth. "Is everything all right, Faria?" "Sorry, you're a bit intense." Faria smiled. "I'm simply enjoying a distraction, lest my mind drift to anything else." "All right, but you have to eat too if you want to sit there." "Why?" Juliet waved away a blush. "I don't know. It's weird to be the only one eating." "If you insist, but I prefer to eat in celebration." "Okay, then let's keep the conversation light." Faria smiled, taking up one of the slices of toast. "What's the plan for today?" "We're waiting on King Astler to have his meeting. I'm not putting much faith in our chum Celine. It's very likely we're going to be kidnapping a princess." Juliet choked, coughing up egg pulp. "Kidnap?" "Shush," Faria winked. "Light topics. Clearly, this is too heavy." "Fine. What topics then?" Faria took a small bite of toast, chewing it playfully as she moved closer to Juliet. "What about dragon marriage?" Juliet froze, the words close enough to be felt on her skin. "That sacred elf bond thing? I don't know if that's a light topic for you." "Of course, I tease," Faria smirked. "There are all sorts of bonds in the world, some immortal, and others—" Juliet pulled her blankets close. "Miss Faria, I don't know what you're suggesting, but I'm a lady. And don't you go acting like this is in my head, because Ekato put it in there." "I doubt Ekato put it in there," Faria said. "You were certainly cuddling awfully close." "I was
Oh
not!"
no.
Juliet tossed a slice of toast at the dragon. Faria was overwhelmed by a laugh. "Quit it! I was sleeping!" "Hush, hush. You don't need to be so embarrassed. You're far from the first human girl to fall in a hopeless mortal love with me. I'm unbelievably gorgeous, engrossing, obnoxious," Juliet huffed. "I want another topic. Anything, please." "Fine. Heavy topics then. If this meeting with the king falls through, we're kidnapping the princess. We'll beg for his forgiveness after that." Juliet was happy to give her cheeks a break from reddening. We have a week before the execution. We can't give up after 2 bad meetings. If we push it further, I doubt we'll have luck entering the castle.
You have to agree with the dragon lady. Yeah. Juliet down bad for the dragon lady. She's just in love with her. And she ain't the first girl to fall in love with her. I love Juliet. She's so silly.
Yeah, if you threaten people and set fires, no castle for us. Juliet scowled. Behave. You too. Feria gave her a little wink. Oh, and what is that supposed to mean? Sorry, we can't let you through, Ambassador. Juliet and Feria stopped at the gate. A pair of guards blocked the entrance to the courtyard. Back in the hotel, time had drained away. They'd spent the day waiting for the king's response, but nothing came. Dread filled the absence of a response, and Feria grew impatient. Smoke filled the air around them, thick black clouds smoldering with red-hot embers. Feria struggled to speak, each word coming out slow through her clenched teeth. I have business with the king. The king's decided that he won't be considering any more of your counsel. The embers got hotter. Did he? Who did you hear this from? Selin? King Asler has made up his mind. Flames blazed at their feet. The guards stumbled backwards, firming their stance a few feet from the fire. The tighter she held her fists, the hotter the flames became. Ambassador, there's nothing I can do. It's been decided. More embers burned, picking up into full-fledged flames. Juliet kept her distance, the growing wall of heat separating her from Feria. Scales stood out along Feria's arms, rippled like shattered rock. Feria threw a clawed hand forward, digging her talons into his neck. Blood dripped. Feria! Juliet punched through the smoke, fist landing square on her shoulder. The fire turned to ash. Juliet glared at Feria's back. How does that help us? Feria growled, dragging her feet through the ash. They turned away from the shivering guards. They strode along the stone walkway, stopping past the twin trees. Feria didn't relax. Her fists were solid, arms folded over the singed corset. She glared back at the golden trees. The last time something like this happened, it worked out, Juliet said. We only need to speak with him again. It'll be fine. Doesn't make it any less frustrating. I know,
Such a baby.
but you know it'll only get worse if you keep up your tantrums. Are you not 700? Or are you a toddler? I'm a dragon, she growled more. If this Selin keeps rubbing my scales the wrong way, she's going to get hurt. Diplomacy. We have 2 days left. We've exhausted the diplomatic route, which means Plan B. Juliet scowled, remembering the kidnapping plan. You've wanted that plan from the beginning, haven't you? Since I was insulted. By Jules? Juliet rolled her eyes. Here you are saying that I must appear in the nude. We mustn't insult the royal family. You're the one obsessing over dragon traditions. I bet Selin would have ditched the jewels if you'd behaved. You don't get it, Feria growled. Her people used to slay my kind. My mother's scales adorn a dress like hers. To wear even faux... I'm sorry. Juliet offered a hand to Feria. I didn't realize. Feria stiffened. It's fine. She was killed long before I hatched. It's the flagrancy. It's her acting like she knows more than me, denying what could be the end of the world. I know. Juliet held her hand carefully, avoiding her claws. Whatever her problem is, ignore it. You're not any better if you let this anger ruin our chances. Please don't start any more fights. I beg of you. Feria softened, fists falling limp. She looked to consider what Juliet had to say. Then she met her eyes. Fine. If you really think you can steer the king's heart, do it. Thank you. Juliet squeezed her hand. But I think I may get a look at the dungeon. A slight smile started. I may not have doubts for you and the king, but Selin, I hope you can understand. Fine, but please don't threaten anyone. Please.
Juliet. Who wouldn't be? That's true. I'm in love with Feria. I don't know if I am. She's cool. I like her. She's not my favorite of all my characters, but she's a good character. She gets main character problem where I have to hang out with her so much that she ends up not being as favorite as some of my like side characters. But she's still really good. I like her. She's silly. All right, chapter 12.
Chapter 12. Feria was stunning, the palace light washing over her. The glow of
Wait.
starlight glistened off her red skin.
Did we do chapter 11?
Chapter 11. When Celine entered the dungeon, Alexandria was waiting. The princess leaned against the bars,
I don't think we
one
did
arm
chapter
extended,
11.
balancing on the horizontal rung. Once again, a smile spread on her face, carved out beneath the grime. Even still, nothing could
Yeah,
cover
this
the
is new.
regality of her stance. Royalty was in her bones. Celine stayed a foot from her grasp. Before she said a word, she allowed her expressions to smooth. Her lip flattened, brow relaxed. The emotional holes in her armor were sealed. I'm so glad you're keeping our bargain. Alexandria's lashes fluttered. It's so lonely here. As long as your heir is chosen, I couldn't care less. Alexandria withdrew her arm from the bars, her nose scrunched, a mimicry of normal human interaction. Since childhood, Celine had dissected the strange girl's actions. It began when she noticed her blank stares.
She has like this specific vibe you often see with male presenting characters, but I happen to like that vibe. And she just makes it better being a pretty dragon lady. Yeah. She's got some mask energy. I get you. Mask character. Yeah.
Alexandria always watched others in the room before expressing, mimicking. By the time they were 13, it was near instantaneous. Barely a glance, and she could copy the emotional flavor of a room. But there was always a glance. You're being quiet, Alexandria said. Celine offered no explanation. You're going to do the bare minimum, aren't you? What if talking to me could convince an appropriate heir from me? I saw them cleaning the slab. It hasn't seen a blade in decades. Celine crossed her arms. It'll be the first public execution since the days of King Doran. It suits you. It really does. Her smile widened. Do you think angel tears will grow on my tomb? Or will I be discarded in the ash moss? Nothing will grow on your tomb. Perhaps I will leave your bones for the strays. The wild dogs will make better use of that flesh than you.
Beagle, what are you doing awake? Go back to sleep. Clearly you have control over this. Get your EPs. Savage. She doesn't like the princess. I mean, princess did try and kill her fiance, so. Help? What do you need help with? How can I help you? Like aggressive monster? I can appreciate that. Yeah. She definitely thinks she's better than everyone. She's tough and can beat you up, which is all true. Maybe not the better than everything part, but self-centered queen. Okay, back to it.
Alexandria laughed. I'm not fooled by your mockery. The princess wiped a tear from her eye. Of course not. You're so tough. How many days is it now? 2? 3? Whatever it is, you're making the wait very entertaining. It's 2 days. That should be enough time. Celine resisted furrowing her brow, resisted playing her game. I've decided who my heir will be. They'll be making their way toward the castle soon. The Fallen will only last a few more days after all. The Shadow Sage will need to contain them as soon as possible. Who knows the consequences if they got loose? Who is your heir? I said I'd tell you on our last day. You're not getting away with ignoring me. Celine clenched, then immediately unclenched her fist. Mad? She stopped to laugh. Are you thinking about breaking every bone in my pathetic body? Blood rushed to Celine's cheeks in a dizzying pulse. The problem with you and Assie is that you think you can hide. You, this kingdom, are as predictable as the sun and the moon. It's so easy to get the upper hand on you when you dismiss facts as insecurity. You can never truly know the shadows when you refuse to face them. I don't fear you. As Celine said it, her mind raced. She's playing you. What you think doesn't matter. You aren't the Sage of Light. Give it a few more breaths, and you won't be the Sage of Shadow either. Alexandria moved back towards the corner of her cell, swaying with each stride as she sighed to herself. When the wild dogs are picking my bones clean, I'll be thinking of this. How much I enjoy our talks down here. Juliet walked through the castle courtyard, pacing beneath the twin trees. The smell of dawn glow was thick in the air, accenting an already heavy nausea. Somehow she needed to accidentally run into the king, despite the fortifying guards. Everyone knew the nude girl with vines growing out of her was with the dragon. Don't beat yourself up over it, she comforted herself. Feria made the trouble. You're not the one that threatened the king.
No.
True, but I'm still paying the price, she muttered as her hands landed square on her hips.
We've lost our dog. Turning off the webcam so Charlie can have the spot. Oh.
No more cam.
No more pet cam.
I hate fun.
Charlie hates fun. Blame the beagle. I've been trying to fall asleep for an hour. I'm sorry. I love me some self-centered characters who can back it up. I mean, I'm like 5'3" and out of shape. She would fold me like a lawn chair. Yeah, she definitely can back it up. She can fold anyone like a lawn chair, honestly. Because she can turn into a giant dragon. So, even if you were not 5'3", you would be lawn chairified. Anyways, let's continue.
She trailed her eyes back to the northern courtyard where the dungeon lay. The sight did nothing to jostle new ideas. In fact, smashing through the dungeon in a fit of dragon rage and impatience felt more and more viable with each idealist second that ticked by. From the far side of the courtyard, she caught a glance of Celine. Guards shadowed her steps across the cobblestone, the woman looking stern despite her casual attire. If only her and Feria had gotten along. Maybe then the sage business would have wrapped itself up neatly. Juliet took a seat beneath the trees, resting her head in her hands as she watched Celine take purposeful steps through the courtyard. Seconds after, Juliet leapt to her feet. The king lingered a few feet from Celine, standing amongst the guards. Not giving herself time to think about a plan, Juliet approached. By the time she reached the other side of the court, Celine had rounded a corner. The guard stepped in front of the king as Juliet ran near him. "Stand down, dragon maid," said one of them in the front. "The king is done with you and your ambassador." Juliet bowed low to King Asler, hidden bashful beneath the guards. "Apologies, my king." "It's all right, Miss Welland." He smiled over the tense concern on his face. "You're certain it's all right?" Juliet asked as she raised from the bow. "I understand your decision, though I was wondering if we could talk more. Even if you don't agree with our plans for the Shadow Sage, you're still going to be part of things, right?" The guards looked to their king, waiting just like Juliet for his answer. "Well, I suppose we could talk. That seems reasonable to me." He stepped through the guards, offering a hand to Juliet. "Come with me." She was startled as she touched the king's hand. With a light grip, he helped her up the steps to the palace, letting go only when they'd passed the threshold. For a few more steps he was quiet, waiting for his guards to be out of earshot before he spoke again. "I'm sorry for this. Celine spares no trust for dragons." And Feria spares little trust for humans. Or anyone. I'm sorry for her behavior. I think everything's weighing on her. You really should reconsider all of this. King Asler stopped, sighing out of exasperation. What? Was it not your idea? He shook his head, pressing his back to one of the dark walls. Of course it's not my idea. I wish I had the strength of character. Celine makes decisions. I spout them out like they're my own. What sort of king does that make me? Juliet brought a finger to her lip, thinking it out. I'm not sure, she hummed. I've never really thought about being a king, or a queen, that is. If I had, it was only because I saw a dress I fancied. He laughed slightly. Sounds about right. If my sister was to be executed, that would be my life. Dining, dancing, and all the politics left to Celine, but that's not the way it should be. Oh, I completely understand, Juliet
Such a
smiled.
useless man.
That sounds exactly where I am in my life. I could easily go off, get married, never work a day in my life. But I don't want to do that. I want to be useful. I want to do something. He nodded softly. Forget about Feria. Forget about Celine. And by the god of shadows himself, may he rest for eternity, forget about me. What do you want to do about all this? The king pressed a hand to his chest, the tension slowly returning to his face. His thoughts appeared to take over him. Balling and unballing his fist, he struggled to find an answer inside. When he finally spoke again, his fingers fell open. I don't want to kill my sister. Juliet's smile faltered. She could feel his struggle. He meant exactly what he'd said. He looked at his shoes. I don't care what she's done. I'm too kind, too weak. She'd happily watch me die, but I wouldn't wish a cold on her. I'm weak. That doesn't make you weak. It does, he sighed. What hope will I have against the god of shadows? Can't even handle my sister. King Asler turned away as tears streaked his face. Juliet reached out to him, but hesitated, unsure if it was appropriate to touch his hand without permission. Gradually, he began to walk again. His feet dragged with each step. His shoulders drooped down. For a moment, Juliet forgot his title, the majesty bestowed on him since birth. He was barely old enough to be considered a man, let alone a king. Is this how immortals feel? She wondered, remembering when she was the king's age, right at the end of her high school career. Just a woman uncertain what to do with the rest of her life, and even years later, still uncertain. Without a second thought, she grabbed the king's hand. You need to believe in yourself. What? You need
Just
practice,
believe in yourself.
stick to it, and before you know it, you'll be an excellent king, maybe an even better ruler than Queen Alexandria II. His face paled at the suggestion. I'm no hero, King Asler. Feria can barely grip her own emotions. The only mistake we could make is to give up. At the end of this all...
She's just like, we all fucking suck. Don't worry about it. That does not bode well for any of their plans. This comic page goes crazy, this one. It is a bit crazy.
You will find yourself in the halls of history. You will be a king who saved the world. What better of a light sage could exist? I don't know about that. What do you mean? Are you not the sage destined to... What are you doing in the palace? Celine shouted from the far end of the hall.
Oh no, Juliet.
Aaron took a seat outside, leaving Sindrith to his work. More so, he needed some time to himself. He brought with him the notebook Lul had given him. He opted to distract himself for a while with reading. He started from the beginning this time. The first page of the book appeared to be signed and maybe dated, but trying to glean the meanings was difficult. Looking at the signature felt like staring into a bright light. It was the star, the purest form of it, uncut and uninhabited. It was a crystal floating above all. Aaron shook his head, looking away from the word. Instead, he turned his attention to the date. Again, he found no specifics. Instead, the date felt like a glimpse at ancient times. He couldn't explain it, but the world felt unfinished. The books of Avo were incomplete. He turned the page, beginning into the content. When he read the page, he was in a forest of towering trees, their trunks like buildings, and it was Vera Libra. While the forest was younger, it was unmistakable. The pages took him to where the elves gathered. At the center was a man that Aaron didn't have the ability to imagine. In his place was a smell of off meat, a putrid
Odar.
stink resting on his tongue. Aaron gagged, closing the book quickly. With eyes free of the pages, the stench faded.
That's my only director's commentary. That's Odar. That's my stinky boy. You won't see him until book 2, but that is Odar foreshadowing right there. He's on the star. Okay, perfect Odar music. Odar maxing.
Behind him, the door creaked open. Leo exited the house, making his way to his
Actually,
evening
Leo's
chores.
appearing.
The farm was an endless source of work.
Leo's about
It was
to
a marvel that
judge
humans
him.
could keep up. He couldn't imagine needing to sleep on top of it. The old exile slowed as his path crossed Aaron's. He anticipated an instruction to help. "Are you all right?" Leo asked, furrowing his brow. "Yeah, I'm all right." Aaron looked down at his book, an idea sparking as he saw the cover once more. "Wait, you might know about this." Aaron stood, offering the book to his uncle. Leo took it, turning it front and back before looking to Aaron. "A book?" "Yeah, I found it in the city." He opened it to show him the strange words. "It's written in this language that I think only the Wind Sage can read." Leo examined the pages closely before flipping to the front. He inspected the same pages as Aaron, then closed the book. "Where did you get this?" "It was in my master's house." "Master?" Leo scowled.
Aaron, no.
"Just a job, uncle. He had a lot of books and such, and this happened to end up in his collection." The scowl didn't leave his uncle's face.
I'm so excited for the Odar tarot card. And the Odar design process will happen. Aw. Oh, this shit's gonna slap so hard. It's gonna be yucky. Yes. There's a lot of yucky cards down the pipeline. I wonder what Ushi chooses for her third card. Because she's doing the Lul card. And that she's working on Allura. So I don't know which card she does next. It's up to her.
During the entire explanation. It's an incredible coincidence. He opened the first page once again. "You're right that you can read this because you are the Sage of Wind, though it's not impossible to learn it. The elves were the ones that often took dictation from the spirits." "It's not a missing book of Avo, is it?" Leo stifled a laugh. No. The books are sealed away in Vera Libra's inner sanctum, but this is something very special." "It is?" Leo nodded, pressing a finger beneath the signature. "As an angel, I learned a little of the ancient scripts. However, I had recognized this signature anywhere.
It's Magpie
I think you've
crashes
stumbled upon a
per break
journal of
constantly.
Tenorars." Aaron gasped. "Wait, you mean my grandfather?" "None other," Leo smiled. Aaron looked back at the name and the light it evoked. "Oh, when I look at his name like this, I see it as the star." As would make sense.
It's gonna
He
crash
was the
again.
spirit of the star.
Oh,
He created it. His name naturally brings an image like that. Leo continued to flip through the pages with an obvious nostalgia. He paused as he reached the loose pages. He pulled them out, giving them a closer inspection. "Oh, yeah, those fell out earlier. I'm not sure where they actually fit in." "Nowhere." Leo looked up at Aaron. "There's no way you can read these, Aaron." Uncle Leo showed the pages to Aaron to look over. Upon a closer inspection, the text was unreadable, but that didn't mean Aaron couldn't recognize what they were. "Wait!" He took the pages. "These were on the master's desk. How did they get here?" "Pardon?" "I was snooping around and... Wait, is this the language of shadow?" "Why would you assume that?" Leo narrowed his eyes. Aaron slumped. "I didn't want to worry you, but it turned out that my master was, a shadow spirit." "Lul?" "Arison to
Aaron.
Norar Truewind," his uncle snapped, the full name always sending a prickle through Aaron. "Do you have any idea what you've gotten yourself into?" Aaron flinched back. "I know, I'm sorry." Leo sighed. Aaron rarely saw him so exhausted outside of dealing with Sindrith. "Let me see the pages again." He held out his hand. As he took the pages back, his scowl got more intense.
dumb child.
"Is it bad?" Aaron asked. He brought the papers closer. This doesn't make sense. What do you mean? This is the language of time. He looked up at Aaron. Viren is the only one alive who should know how to write this. But this is far too sloppy for him. Aaron tilted his head. Is it maybe some old note?
I've just
This
straight up
paper looks
retconned
practically new. He continued to shake his head. I have no idea where this could have come from. You could ask Viren when you reach Vera Libra. Aaron nodded slowly as he took the papers back. I'm sorry for snapping at you, Leo said as the papers were free from his hands. I actually meant to apologize for our last conversation. Aaron felt lighter. Pardon? It is not beyond me to act on impulse. Rarely, certainly, but what came over me was uncalled for. At least, partly so. I know what Viren has said of Miss Deadwood, but even then, I'm wary. The god of time sees things in terms of a bigger picture, but my life is small. What do you mean by that? He sees time in a way that even someone as old as I can't. Viren is willing to make sacrifices to preserve a sort of greater order. It's not something that I could ever do, and I suppose I worry that you could be hurt for the sake of some greater good. I'm going to be okay. You're grayer than I expected. I don't like that. Aaron bowed his head. I'm sorry.
Chicken.
Don't be sorry, just be careful.
Walk, walk,
He
walk.
set a hand on Aaron's shoulder. The western woods is divided. There is what belongs to the
One
goddess of
star.
Earth, Javera's woods. But there is something else that has been lost. A wicked wood that borders the mountains and the mirage beyond. I worry that the shadow that fills it would be enough to bring any angel
Just get
to
better
their fall.
pulls.
Aaron felt a tremble run through him.
Wait, what the hell is that? Oh, it's your beagle. I don't know. It's just a bunch of glitched out text for me, so I was a little confused. And a parrot. Okay. Ah. 1 star. God, these pulls been so bad. I feel like if you're not Kimiko, you just can't get a 5 star. I feel like it's rigged. Twitch is very functional. Yeah, it seems really functional right now. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Do you think I'm ready for something
love
like
this scene.
I don't know, Aaron. He sighed. I don't know if anyone can be, but I worried the same for my sister when she went to stop him. Don't let my concern get in your way. After the dealings at the palace, Juliet and Feria reconvened at the breakfast bar. It was Feria's idea. After the interruption from Celine, Juliet felt a little deflated. The dragon took this to mean she was suffering from hunger, and so they walked to the cat's fancy. It was late when they reached the restaurant, the sky dark through the large front-facing window. Juliet sat across from Feria in a small booth, the cushions melding to the form of her body. Their table was the last to be lit, the building empty and readying for the nightlife. Take your time, Feria said, treating herself to a pickled root. Could you be a little less chipper? Juliet scowled. Just because your plan fell through doesn't mean it's hopeless. Feria flashed her fangs. You eat. I'll tell you all about it. With a roll of her eyes, Juliet picked up the sandwich. The overly stacked club was difficult to eat in a dignified way. She swallowed a mouthful of bread and venison. Happy? Very, Feria laughed. We're breaking into the dungeon before the execution. And how do you plan to do that? I'm a dragon. I'll force my way in. Juliet dropped her elbows on the table. I'm joking, Feria said with a roll of her eyes. I've got a far more elegant solution. I was testing the dungeon walls when you were off wasting time with Celine. I think I'll be able to move the stones and make an entrance for us. By smashing it? No, Feria smirked. With magic. The thought sent flutters. There was still something mystifying about the dragon. It would likely be years before Juliet could get over it. But how is fire going to help? Fire? I meant willing the stone to move. It's difficult, but stone certainly falls under my power. It does? Faria's grin was even more wild than usual. Oh, darling, did you think I could only light fires? My powers are an exemption from the books of Avo. In my case, I am not bound by the laws the fire spirits wrote. Flame, smoke, embers, obvious ones. But there were other spirits in the Fire Council. There was the spirit of stone, spirit of mountains, spirit of summer. Juliet covered her mouth. You could move mountains? Possibly, Faria shrugged. If I didn't interfere with the laws of the other books, sure. It's about experimentation. There's never been a sage alive that exhausted the possibility of their exemptions. Fascinating, Juliet said, unable to close her mouth. How do you control it? She shrugged. It's innate. You sort of feel it inside of you. Parts of the world just feel pliable to me. It's little more than a mental push after that, though defying reality at first can be a little daunting. At least that's what I've heard. I gained the power before I knew what was impossible. What do you mean by that? That I was still in my egg. I didn't know I couldn't create fire in my elven form, so it was simple. But the water sage told me that she suffered through a mental block for some time.
Oh my god, she would have been a menace of a child. though, now that I think about it, she doesn't really end up in her elven form until she's like a couple hundred years old anyways. Or it took Fairy like a long time. So I guess they didn't have to worry about that. She still was a menace though. I think extra menace as a dragon baby.
I see. What? Faria furrowed her brow. I don't know how I feel about someone so emotionally unstable having powers like that. Excuse me, Faria gasped. I didn't get into a single fight when you left. In fact, you're the one that got us removed from the castle. Oh, please, I'm collateral damage in your feud with Celine. You're just mad your plan fell through, Faria laughed. But tomorrow at midnight, we make our move. I appreciate your attempts. In fact, your work with the king should endear him enough to join us. We collect the princess, and then we deal with the Deadwood issue. Juliet shivered at the name. She kept quiet, not wanting to upset the plants. In the meantime, after your dinner, do you want to dance downstairs? Or do you want to pretend not to fawn over me in your sleep? Juliet glanced over to the servers. Could you not do this in public, at the very least? Got it. You'll be cuddling me on the mattress. Faria! The dragon giggled. Hush, I'm just having a bit of fun. Things are only bound to get more dismal. It's not as if I'm devoting the rest of my immortal life to you. What's a little fun? Juliet took a sip of her ice water. I don't think you understand. Humans don't do... She struggled for words, motioning around herself. This. Oh, trust me, they do this all the time. Maybe the men, Juliet shook her head. Faria, I haven't even kissed a man. I'm not being flippant with my love life. Faria tilted her head. A beautiful girl like you hasn't kissed a man? Have you tried? Juliet bristled. They have. Faria set her head in her palm. I have a question. Given the topic, I really don't want to hear it. Sorry then, because this is important. Given what we'll be doing, there's an off chance that you could... How do I put this gently? Well, you could die. With that in mind, would you be okay if your life ended here? Juliet stilled, the idea sinking in her gut. And yet, it didn't. She couldn't imagine dying. The danger felt abstract. The rest of my life is doomed to be without love, Faria said. It's miserable. You wouldn't want your days to end like this. Trust me. If you really are loveless, then what could you even offer me? I've told you. Mortal and immortal love are different. I will never find my other half. Never live out eternity in balance, peace, or happiness. But that doesn't mean I can't enjoy company for a few moments. Juliet couldn't find her words. She felt lost for an answer somewhere deep in a fog. Maybe. Maybe? Juliet nodded. I'm not so certain I'll die. Not so soon. And even if you were a man, why would I want to be something so insignificant in your life? Feria nodded quietly. Feria, Juliet trailed off as she tried to find words for her feelings. I think that I'd be more keen on the proposal if you seemed happier about it. Not a single man has asked to kiss me with such a miserable tone. True. If only love wasn't so tangled in misery. Juliet paused. Was your love killed? No. Feria shook her head. She never loved me. Juliet met Feria's hand across the table. For the second time, her eyes were soft with tears. There was something unmistakably human about it.
Feria.
Yet she was undeniably immortal, so completely unreal to Juliet. Her life was so different, her experience all ancient tales. And yet 100 dinners with the men of her mother's choosing couldn't compare. She never felt so close to another soul. Feria's fist broke apart in Juliet's hand. They came together, as naturally as currents, intersecting, finding one another. I think that I might wish to dance with you again, Juliet said. Then let's.
Oh, shit.
Even the darkest night was iridescent under the stars' oppressive glow. Aaron stood in the emptied pasture, Leo on one side, Sindrith on the other. Clouds streaked the sky, swirling over the distant stars. He took a deep breath, bracing himself before he attempted to move the clouds. Any angel looking out at the sky would see it as strange. His gut clenched, body trembling as he stretched his palm up above his head. He'd heard somewhere at some point that moving with the magic made it easier. He shut his eyes, the dark of his eyelids a canvas for his imagination. While some part of him felt it was impossible, another part felt trapped. The exemption was within his reach, but he stopped himself. As he pushed clouds aside, his fear sparked. Starlight. The star glaring down upon him with 1,000 eyes. They watched him to show his power. They were geared to punish Mirel. He stumbled back. I can't do it. Aaron, Leo said, coaxing him to open his eyes. As Aaron did so, only thin clouds remained. They were unable to hide the brightness of the stars. It worked. I sure hope this doesn't get you in trouble. The wind blows all the time, Sindrith joked. You need to loosen up about this. I guess so, he replied, but the sentiment didn't sink in, not as long as a risk still existed. He would have continued worrying, but Tria's loud yawn caught him off guard. She sat on a slight slope, one hand propping up her head, the other casually scratching Rennie. After hours of boundless running, it was disarming to see the dog nearly passed out in Tria's lap. Leo stepped forward. His fingers drifted upward, tracing lines between the stars. The lines he drew were purposeful, slow, and in the end, unremarkable. The stars shone no brighter than before. They didn't quake, nor did they fall. Nothing. Leo closed his palm, bringing it down towards his chest. Did it work? Sindrith asked. Tracing his eyes between Sindrith and the sky, Leo guided him back to watch the horizon. Clouds drifted back over the stars, blocking the light with swirls of blue and purple. They grew thicker and thicker until, despite the darkness, starlight bled through. From the deep of night, a bear stepped out of the sky. Her great paws landed one by one on the ground, walking forward as if the horizon were merely a few feet from them. The bear shook her fur, rustling the stars. Kara was massive, larger than any bear he'd seen before. As she adjusted onto 2 paws, she overshadowed them all. They stood in the shadow of her stunning coat, gaze trailing to her silver eyes. Kara, I'm so glad to see you heard my request. Leo smiled, though the beast made no acknowledgement of his words. My nephew is in need of your aid. He and his companion seek to enter Shavera's grove. The bear, as expected, said nothing. She lowered herself onto all fours, giving Aaron a few long sniffs. Her breath was as icy as a winter breeze, practically frosting the skin it touched. Aaron couldn't help but hold his breath. When she finished sniffing, she appeared satisfied. All eyes turned to Tria. Kara watched the woman at a distance, her silver eyes flitting back towards Leo. Yes, she's Luna's daughter, Leo replied. Kara flashed a set of sharp golden teeth, a grumble settling in her throat. I know, I felt the same, he sighed. But she is traveling with Aaron. Viren trusts her. With that, the bear's expression softened, turning away from Tria. So, you'll lead us? Tria asked. Kara grunted, walking away through the field. The bear strode from the cottage, heading in a seemingly aimless direction. Aaron looked back at Tria. She stood, leaving the dog on the grass. Aaron looked at his uncle. Was that a yes? It appears so. Hurry and grab your things. It's no good to make a spirit wait. With a gasp, Sindra smacked into Leo and Aaron. What? Right now? You're leaving already? While Aaron caught his balance, Leo simply pushed Sindrith away. Yes, they're leaving, Sindrith. There's no more time for reunions. He scowled in Tria's direction. That will come later. I'll go grab our things, Tria replied, heading back toward the cottage. Rennie followed at her heel, glancing between her and Sindrith. As they were left alone in the silence, Leo gave Aaron a final hug. Please remember what I told you. Be safe. When the music slowed, Juliet lost herself in Faria's eyes. Their first encounter felt distant, yet Juliet was taken back. Her heart was light again, her focus transfixed on the woman, the warmth of her body, the softness of her hands. A wave of doubt brought stiffness to her steps. This wasn't how a proper lady behaved. It wasn't safe to spend her night in the midst of alcoholics and debaucherers. In a short few days, her mind had been corrupted, twisted to think of things she'd never imagined, things like kissing. The dragon's hand slid from her shoulder. Tingles stuttered Juliet's breath.
Never imagined.
The dragon touching each bump down her spine. The dragon guided her closer, her body pressed against her dress, close enough that she may have been wearing it once again. Faria's face was dangerously close to her own. So close to her, Juliet could smell more than the ash. A perfume of spice. A scent distinctly Faria's. If they failed, if the world ended, if Juliet would one day die, she didn't want it to be without a moment like this. She shut her eyes as the dragon moved closer. Her heart pounded. And then, the dragon's lips found hers. Even with the rush of blood, the dragon was warmer. Her lips were the first day of summer. When Faria pulled back, Juliet returned to her. The dragon didn't mind, continuing to kiss her until the music picked up once more.
Oh my god. They smooched. The smoochening. That's crazy. Ew, gross. Kissing. Never imagined kissing ever. That Juliet sure hasn't. Sure wasn't drawing her imagining it. Oh my god. How far are we? We're not quite halfway. I think we're a quarter through. Damn. I think it's about to pop off, right? Let's go. Chapter 12. I'm zooming.
Chapter 12. Faria was stunning, the palace light washing over her. The glow of starlight glistened off her red scales as she stared at the stone wall. The day leading to the moment was long, but Faria's mind was singular, turned to the castle and her plan. Juliet, on the other hand, struggled to find what she should focus on. The end of the world? The kissing? Kissing a dragon. In a speakeasy. Okay, even as they entered the courtyard, her thoughts were on the kiss. She tried to focus. The first
kidnap a princess to save the world, but her priorities are in the right place. I get it.
stretch was easy. Most of the surrounding castle was open to the public. However, the courtyards, northern especially, were under constant watch of the guards. They'd moved slowly, Faria's focus remarkable. In the end, they reached the dungeon's entrance. Faria led them to its rear, where no guard stood. Extending a palm forward, Faria touched one of the many stones that made up the structure. Her body locked in concentration, and then, with a slight push, she moved the solid rock. For a second, she grinned, but then lurched forward as the stone fell through to the other side, her hands outstretched in a mimicry of catching the rock. "Careful," Juliet hissed. "Oh, I'd love to see you try," Feria scoffed. Do you think you could fit through there? Juliet scowled. The hole the dragon made was only a foot or so tall, and 2 wide at the most. How tiny do you think I am? Fine. Feria pressed a palm to the stone beneath it. I'll move 1 more, but the last thing we need is the
Dungeons
building
and
to
Dragons
crumble.
reference, yeah.
With more care than the first, she pushed
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
second stone out of place, catching it without a sound. The hole, despite the doubling of size, didn't look much more manageable. Juliet grimaced at the wall, then back to Feria. Are you sure 1 more would hurt? Feria smirked. I haven't fed you that much. Come on. Juliet glared at her before approaching the hole. The surface of the rock was nowhere near as smooth inside as it was on the wall. A short tunnel of rough rock led into the dungeon. Juliet's fingers trembled as she reached inside. Lifting her knee up, she dragged herself forward. The space between the stones smelled damp like a tomb. Juliet grumbled as the abrasive sides of the entrance scraped her. The journey was tight and awkward, cutting and scraping her delicate skin. Juliet eventually landed on the other side of the wall. Nearly whimpering at a scraped knee, she stopped herself. The room was smaller than she expected, with a pair of guards standing at an open door only several feet ahead. Why would they keep the door open? She wondered before descending the dungeon steps. Only when she was far from the guard's possible sightline did Juliet stop and wait for Feria. She sat at the bottom of the steps, looking out into a long hallway. No lanterns hung along the darkened hall. The only light came from the glow of starlight bars. The hall was silent. Come on, we need to be quick, Feria whispered, startling Juliet. Juliet took a deep breath before matching strides with Feria. She held herself tightly, nursing scrapes on her elbows. Her focus trailed to the endless darkness. From the distance, low growls gurgled, breaking the silence with tired screams. Juliet froze. Is that... Yes. Feria grabbed her hand, pulling her along. Those are the fallen. Juliet stumbled behind Feria's long strides. We're not going to run into any, are we? They're sealed away. You don't have to worry about them. While she nodded, Juliet couldn't shake their distant cries. She sped up to keep with Feria. Her focus was intense. Juliet glanced at her hand, wondering if it might be right to take it. Here, she'd allowed this woman to have her first kiss, and yet she didn't know if it was okay to touch her. The more she thought, the sicker she felt. She'd been so impulsive, so... Where is she? Feria snarled. We must have passed a dozen cells. Beside them was another empty cell. Even with the glowing bars, it was incredibly dark, making it almost impossible to fully see the corners and edges. Maybe we missed her? Juliet offered. As Feria went to speak, they both froze. The sounds of heels echoed down the halls. Before Juliet had a chance to react, Feria had her crouched on the ground. She squeezed them tight against the shadowed wall. Juliet wriggled, pulling Feria's hand from her mouth. Stay quiet, Feria hissed. Juliet furrowed her brow. She strained to look past Feria.
I was having
Out
the same
of the
thought.
darkness was none other than Celine. She approached one of the first few cells, giving herself a fair breath between the bars. Good morning, Alexandria. How did we miss her there? Juliet gasped. Feria shushed her sharply. Do you want to get caught again? Juliet sighed, the sound in the depths masking their whispers. A voice groaned from the cell. Morning, already? The princess's voice was rough, tired and dehydrated. Just past midnight, Celine replied. You've got a busy day ahead of you. I wouldn't want us to miss our last meeting. Certainly not. The blades being sharpened, the courtyard prepared, when the light of dawn breaks, we'll at last be rid of you. Princess Alexandria sighed. It's been good, hasn't it? No, it hasn't, Celine scowled. Who is your heir? There was silence, and then there was laughter. It began breathless, soft, then spilled over, filling the dungeon with boundless delight. It echoed loud and proud, unsettling the fallen and awakening new anger in their screams. Celine was motionless, stiff with anger. You've pulled no great joke, Alexandria. If you don't want to tell me your heir, so be it. Rot. Let your flesh house the maggots, The worms drink your blood. Die and know your words meant nothing to me. Princess Alexandria continued laughing. Selene, please. You're too quick to anger. Relax. Her name is
Just
Nikki,
chill.
a spirit. A sudden pain hit Juliet. She fell back, holding on to her arm. Above her, Feria stood, her scales glowing like embers. Her expression was increasingly familiar, her rage causing a feral look once again. Feria! Juliet shouted as quietly as she could. She reached out for the dragon, hoping to stop her before. Feria lit the hall. Flames circled her feet, keeping her from Juliet's grasp.
No chill.
I've had enough of this, Selene. Feria stomped through the flames. If you allow Nikki to become a sage, you may as well hand Italo his freedom yourself. Selene gasped. What are you doing here? It doesn't matter, Selene of Tia. Fire grew at the exit. Nikki is one of Italo's loyal spirits. You think I don't know who the shadow spirits are? I don't know, Selene. Perhaps you don't. Or perhaps you've read it in one of your books. Feria stepped closer, but Selene didn't waver. I know for a fact you've never had the black dragon's teeth wrapped around your throat. Few can survive her, even among us dragons. Selene's expression remained unchanged. Perhaps this would be perfect motivation to slay that beast. Feria stumbled back. You're an idiot. No, you're playing straight into one of the princess's games. Selene glared back. She saw you here. She's smart. I'd imagine this is nothing more than a ploy to get herself free. Think on it, Ambassador Feria. Would the books of Avo really allow a spirit to hold such power? Does that make sense? As Feria wavered, so did her flames. The guards rushed down the steps, crushing the embers to ash. Lady Selene, are you safe? They circled their lady, swords pointed to Feria's neck. Selene nodded, waving her men down. I'm all right. Lady Feria wouldn't hurt me. She wouldn't want to stir feelings between our people again, would she? Feria's flames intensified as her fist clamped tight. This is ridiculous. As she sustained her anger, the flames continued to burn and expand. The guards faltered, but Selene remained still. She taunted her with her contained anger. The heat scalded Juliet's exposed skin, and the smoke constricted her breath. Juliet coughed as she grasped Feria's fist, holding it until it softened, and Feria's flames returned to ash. Good, Selene said. Guards, please take Lady Feria and Miss Welland to one of our guest rooms. I want a close eye kept on them until the execution. Asler woke long before dawn. His whole night, a restless spiral of nightmares and wakefulness, ended when he turned to his clock and saw the hour strike 4. 2 more hours, he thought as he draped his legs off the edge of his bed. Only 2 more hours, and it's over. He wiped tears from his cheek, clearing his nose with a disgusting series of sniffles, sobs, and coughs. His head swelled, dizzy for breath, eyes blurry. In 2 more hours, there would be a single heir left. The throne would be his alone. Alone. He coughed another breath, stumbling to his feet.
Story time with Ushi.
On the far
Yep.
side of the room, he found his mother's portrait. She looked at him with a sidelong glance, her face stern and discerning. The painting was almost too perfect, capturing the queen down to her essence, not simply her beauty. Asler trembled as he looked to her. He fell to his knees, palms landing hard on the tile before he grasped the soft rug. Mother, he whimpered. Please, I know you're out there somewhere. Please, I need your
This
help.
cryboy out
I
of
need
here.
your strength. Asler wiped snot from his lip. I need your guidance today, to make me do the right thing. Mother, I don't want to fail our kingdom. His mother was
Mommy.
quiet, long dead. As more tears made their way down his face, the silence broke with a squeak. From the corner of his bed, Fidget squeaked again. He hadn't noticed the fox during the night. The little creature now sat with her tail wrapped around her body. Seeing her well allowed him to relax. His tears stopped as he walked back to her. Sat next to Fidget, he stroked her from back to tail. The little fox melted with his touch, pressing her head against his knee, guiding his hands across her body. The trembling of his fingers stilled. It was just like the last time, when his mother had died. Fidget had been there for him then. curled in his lap as he'd sat on the throne. The fox knew nothing more than him, but he was certain she knew he was sad. He allowed her onto his lap, where together they watched the seconds tick to minutes, to hours. A few minutes after 5, their time together was interrupted. A servant knocked on his door, summoning him to the occasion. He would be dressed, escorted, and then it would end. "No one controls Nicky," Feria roared. Juliet woke suddenly. She'd struggled to stay awake in the royal accommodations. The mattress was more luxurious than even the Starpoint inns. The night too old. All the while, Feria paced in an unending rage. Guards shivered outside their door, urging the dragon to stay inside until morning. Juliet raised herself from her pillow as Feria stormed past. "Huh?" she blinked. "Not even a tallow could control her. She is defiant, unpredictable. If any spirit allowed herself the ability to become a sage, it would be her. She is just like that god that made her." "I know, but what can we do?" "We're leaving," Feria snarled. "The guards just left. We only have a few minutes to reach the execution." "What's the plan?" Feria forced open the door and didn't look back, growling low. "I don't know." "Feria, please don't start something. We could catch up with her and—" "I'm not starting something. I'm finishing it."
I play FNAF with headphones in the dark. You do you. I believe in you. I believe you will only piss your pants a little bit. Oh my god, all the animals are just hanging out. All the tiny pasture animals are just over by me right now. Get away, guys, go. It's because I have the food dispenser right there. Ugh. They're attracted to stink. I am the dear lord, and they are my dear subjects. So damn, we made it through a lot of chapters. Let's keep going. Chapter 13. It's heating up. I can't stop now. Let's go. Shoo.
Chapter 13. Asler hadn't prepared any words. The crowd was larger than expected, the courtyard packed to capacity despite the early hour. The sun was nowhere in sight, its rays the only thing apparent as it dampened night to a gray dusk. Staring past the podium, Asler watched the solemn yet eager expressions on the crowd. All were dressed in black, the women with veils pinned fashionably to their hats, the men with pristine black ties. It was like the memorial again. Once again, he was at center stage, waiting for the right words to come to him. He glanced down at his speech, the elegant words Celine had penned. His tongue moved, lips mouthing them, but he said nothing. Silently, he ducked from his spot, retreating behind his guards. Without a beat to spare, Celine replaced him, displacing him like light did shadow. "I'm sorry," she told his people. "Today is a difficult day for our king, but these are the tough choices that must be made. Our once esteemed Princess Alexandria has been found guilty of treason. Royal blood cannot absolve anyone of punishment. This is a crime that cannot be forgiven." Asler trailed his eyes to the executioner. The man looked more imposing than the average guard, his face wrinkled, hands resting on his axe. "Today Alexandria must face her crimes. Execution is the punishment." From behind him, Asler heard the rattle of chain. His sister shambled onto the stage, legs and arms locked in shackles as the guards yanked her forward. Somehow, after her short time in the dungeon, she looked thinner. Her face looked gaunt, clothes tattered, the smell of old urine carrying as a breeze brushed past her.
Ew.
And yet she smiled. "Princess Alexandria," Celine addressed her from the podium, "make peace with your decisions, for the veil awaits you now." "I have," his sister laughed before the guards yanked her down. Alexandria fell hard against the stone slab they'd brought out for her. Her eyes shut as she rested there, waiting for the axe to kiss her neck. "King Asler," Celine said, "we wait for your word." His heart fluttered, eyelids burning with tears. Yes, Alexandria smiled. Say the word. Kill me. I can't wait to tell Mother all about this. Silence you, Celine spat. Alex choked back more laughter. What? I'm on your side. Kill me. She'll love to hear about how quickly her kingdom crumbled. Asler stepped forward, focus trailing from Alex's smile to the sharp axe slung over the guard's shoulder. I'm sorry, he muttered, but I can't do it. He felt the warm tears drip down his cheeks. The crowd was near silent. I'm sorry, but I've listened to my heart, and this isn't the right thing to do. Mother wouldn't want this. Asler's shoulders sank. I won't kill you, Alex. Alexandria's smile dampened as her eyes opened. She raised her head from the slab, staring with Celine in stunned silence. This has nothing to do with you. He straightened his back. I want to be a better Sage of Light. Alexandria stood up straight. Is that so? The princess's shadow fell over Asler as she began to grow taller. Black scales grew from her skin, and in an instant the cuffs and chains broke, giving way to a growing pair of talons. Smoke pooled from her mouth as she regained herself back into a more human form. This monster wasn't Alexandria. The executioner heaved his axe toward her neck, but the monster ripped it from his hands, pulling it by its blade. Her laughter was wild as she watched her blood trickle down onto the ground. By the time the axe was in her hands, all the cuts had healed. Alex is going to love hearing about this, the monster roared.
Uh-oh.
Corrupting a human mind was simple. Alexandria stepped over the guards' bodies. The men contorted and cried, clawing at their skulls. Their attempts were fruitless. Even if she wanted to, Alexandria couldn't undo her spell. Leaving the guards to their fate, she descended the dungeon steps. It had been a few days since she'd walked through them. Nikki graciously traded places with her. The shapeshifter had sought Alexandria out shortly after her imprisonment. After that, their plan formed. Nikki would pretend to be her in the dungeon, while she pretended to be the spirit. Alexandria slid one hand along the wall. Her fingers caught along the imperfections of the rock. In her opposite hand, she clasped the key to Serval's gate. Alexandria learned about the infamous key when she was a child. There were 3 in existence, one belonging to the Angel Council.
I can't believe Ursula said Serval's Gate when it's Serval's Gate. Wow. Fake fan, fake wife. Cancel.
One lost to time, and one final key that Leah, the spirit of life, stole from the corpses of its guards. The key now in her hand. Step by step, cell by cell, Alexandria traversed the darkness. With little thought or concentration, she drained the light from its bars. As she'd done many times before, she soothed the fallen screams. At the hall's end, where their growls and screeches were their loudest, Alexandria reached Serval's gate, the exile's prison. The gate was nothing great in stature. Its bars were close together, angular like the rest. Claws and talons gripped the ancient starlight. They'd already broken through the lesser gates, without her there to calm them. They screeched again. The light sizzled against their skin, covering the crystal with their blood, a syrupy liquid, black, oozing. It bubbled and popped as their skin melded to the starlight. Alexandria said nothing, focused on controlling them. With a hiss, they let go of the bars, quieting as they watched her bring the key to the door. As expected, it fit perfectly. With a satisfying click, the gate came loose, and Alexandria dimmed the final light. "Are you sure you should do this?" a voice said in her head, but it was too late. Alexandria could only take light away.
Oh. Moved from mood boards to cooking. Loving the audiobook so far. Thank you. She did a good job reading it, I think. Oh, it's crazy. Shit's going wild. I say we keep going. I say we keep moving forward. Let's go, let's go. Don't need my interjections. Action.
Chapter 14. The king's head rolled across the stage, his body falling limp into an expanding pool of blood.
Bye, Ashler.
Juliet gripped onto Feria's arm as the screaming crowd ran in all directions, torrents of humans in a flurry of panic. Feria stood strong against the waves, fixated on the other dragon. The dragon stood at the center of everything, her hand resting on the axe's handle. Its blade was embedded in the stage, licked with the blood of herself and the king. Working the handle back and forth, she loosened it. The metal dragged behind her. She approached Celine. With a solid swing, the dragon knocked Celine to the ground. A crack resounded as the broad side of the axe smashed against her skull. And then she took the podium. She was unearthly, yet familiar. Juliet recognized her. They'd met at the party. The first dragon she danced with, but not a dragon. Nikki, the shadow spirit. "Silence!" she boomed, her voice resounding far enough to send a hush. Only the sobs remained loud, fear streaking the faces of man and woman alike. Juliet fared no better than the rest.
I can't with the music. Ba-doop, 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 boop. Here we go.
Her tears dripping down onto Feria's trembling arm.
Here, you're gonna have boss music,
Good.
Nikki.
Keep your mouths shut and listen, because I have some important news for you all. The spirit savored the silence before continuing. First, I must assure you that your queen is both safe and eager to welcome the new changes to this kingdom. Second, she paused once again, giving way for a grin. Second, she and I are eager to announce a new era for you fickle humans. A new
Frickin'
era for our lord,
evil girlfriend
Atalo.
slaying.
The god of shadows will graciously accept you and your kingdom as his own. As the woman spat her last words, Juliet struggled to hold onto Feria. Her scales pulsed with heat, burning hotter and hotter until Juliet's fingers stung, and she could no longer hold on. Feria stepped through the crowd, bluing flames curling against the sides of her arms. Even in the cacophony of tears and terror, she was a fixed point. People ran from her intense heat, knocking Juliet to the ground as they scrambled. "Nothing will ever fall into his hands," Feria snarled, barely loud enough to be heard through the chaos. And yet the dragon at the podium stilled. Her expression pointed in Feria's direction as the flames ignited. Each scale burned hotter and hotter until they were bright like reddened steel. The molten textures dripped and spread, overtaking her skin, hair, and dress. The fabric, engulfed in flame, turned to ash. In its place was Feria, a fire at the crowd center, expanding out and out.
Not
With a
Juliet's
shattering
dress.
sound, the molten form hardened. A pair of bright red wings shadowed all. Juliet fell to the ground with the rest of the humans, lost in the terrifying beauty above. Feria stood, her claws digging into the cobblestone, each foot larger than an automobile. Her body was angular, every edge sharp with spikes. Had she ever seen a dragon in their true form? Never so close. In an instant, another dragon emerged, a reddened coal from boundless smoke. The wind she created cleared the thick air, knocking Juliet and the crowd down once again. The black dragon dwarfed Feria in size. More mountain than monster, she was a volcano of coal. An eruption of bluing flames building behind her fangs. She was sharp, but asymmetric. Her wings spread above all, a night blocking the rising sun. The dragon stood for a moment, Feria's body low and rigid, eyes focused on Nikki's neck. The spirit's form solidified, scales cooling to black. Her stance was almost playful, her long neck high in the air, tail relaxed. Juliet could barely process her roar before the dragons collided. There was a rumble that shook the castle's every stone, a crash louder than thunder. Above, the dragons locked claws and teeth. Feria flapped her wings, digging in her claws and pulling Nikki into the sky. They left rubble behind them, people injured with bruises and burns. Juliet could barely focus on her own pains. Her body was frozen, eyes locked on the teeth and claws above. They blocked the sky like a storm, casting a shadow on all that lay below. Faria's jaw clung desperately to Nikki's immense neck. The blood that oozed between her teeth looked molten. Liquid steel splattered and rained from the sky, lighting fires on the scaffolding, stone, and skin. Juliet found the strength to move her legs. Choking on the residual smoke and debris, she trailed the dragons. The crowds of people moving in torrents made it difficult to follow. She forced herself in the opposite direction of the people fleeing the rain of sparks. They knocked against her from all sides, scratching her bare skin and pushing her off balance. But Juliet continued. She couldn't lose sight of Faria. As quickly as they'd taken to the sky, the dragons plummeted to the ground. The city shook as they skidded down, crushing buildings beneath them. The crashes resounded outwards, crumbling buildings that their scales didn't touch. Nikki pinned Faria, her talons digging deep into her hide. Faria's jaws gnashed, unable to strike back, her neck forced to the ground. She was trapped between Nikki's rows of black teeth. But what could Juliet do? As more blood dripped from her open wound, it dimmed, turning from a vivid orange to a red as dull as Juliet's own. Crash! Juliet stumbled, surprised by another quake. This time, the smashing didn't come from the dragons, but from the walls of the northern courtyard. The stones toppled, crumbling beneath the claws of a screeching monster. Juliet's lips dried. The monsters lumbered forward on blackened limbs. Each creature was distinct, twisted over by an overgrown collection of black pins and feathers. Some doubled over, while others had bodies that grew long, large, inhuman. And yet they were easily recognized. The Fallen. One of the creatures met her eyes. Its body was covered in them. Oily eyes lined its massive arm like boils. They bulged as it lumbered forward with muscles tight. While it approached Juliet, others tore at the walls, surveyed the injured. One with rows and rows of sharp teeth scoured the rubble like a hungry fox. Its feathers stood on end as it sniffed a woman caught beneath a stone. It gripped onto her dress with spindly fingers.
2-star.
When it dragged her forward, her skin peeled with the dress, the monster unwrapping her like a hotel mint. Her cries bled into the monsters, the sound locking Juliet in place as it scarfed down mouthfuls. Juliet's eyes blurred with tears. It was a struggle to move her legs, battle the petrification. You need to get Faria, she reminded herself. She'll know what to do. Juliet ran through the clear spots in the road, headed in the direction she'd last seen the dragons. Behind her, she left the screams of human and monster alike, the crowds at the mercy of their own chaos.
Great point.
Juliet climbed through the rubble of buildings, through smoke thick as stone. Even as she ran, she continued to check behind her, making sure none of the monsters followed. When she was certain she was alone, she stopped. She stood at the center of the spiraling black smoke. She closed her eyes, frozen as she felt the tears stinging. "Calm down," she sobbed to herself. "You need to focus. You'll find her." Wiping her tears as they fell, Juliet waited for her body to stop trembling. She pushed thoughts of monsters and dragons from her mind. When her eyes opened again, her stance was stronger. Through clearer eyes, she spotted the black dragon flying alone through the clouds, scouring the debris. Juliet felt her stance shake once more. "Faria?" She stumbled through the debris, pushing over every rock until her body was red and raw. She tripped down into a clearing, smashing her bare knees against a shattered lamp. She held a scream, the intensity burning her throat, and then for a moment, the pain stopped. It all went silent when she saw her, Faria. The dragon was back in elven form. She lay in the center of what was once a building, now a crater. "Faria!" she screamed, but the dragon gave no response. She lay entirely still, wrapped in a pool of her dark red blood.
Oh shit, that's how it ends? I mean, we can't end there. Fairy's okay, obviously, right?
Chapter 15. Juliet ran to Faria's side, tripping and limping down through the rubble. She dropped down onto her sore knees and pressed her hands to
Hornets here
Faria's
too,
arm.
I guess.
Cuts covered her body, deep claw marks that oozed with warm blood. The color looked darker with each dribble. "You idiot!" Juliet sobbed, smacking her on the shoulder. Feria didn't respond. "I told you! I knew you'd get into trouble!" Juliet sniffled and wiped tears from her chin and cheeks. But yelling didn't rouse any movement. Above them, the black dragon still circled. Juliet draped her arms over Feria, struggling to lift her from the debris. If Juliet could see Nikki, she had little doubt the dragon could see her. "Come on, Feria, we need to get cover." She pulled on her arm, barely moving her an inch. "Why are you so heavy?" "Jules?" Juliet flicked her head back, brow contorting with confusion. "Donnie?" He slid through the debris while he struggled to keep Ekito safe in his arms. Once again, he was in Burgundy, though this time it looked like he'd met the broadside of an explosion. When he finally reached Juliet's side, the creature leapt from his arms. "Ekito!" Juliet spluttered. "I don't know what to do. Please, there has to be a way to save her." "Calm down," Ekito hissed. "Dawn, you need to help lift her. We've got to get her back to the cafe." He glared at the man before shifting focus to Juliet. "Miss Welland, find some strength and get lifting. The last thing we need is to dally and have a dragon on our tail." Juliet sniffled, wiping her mucus away until her vision was clear. With a deep breath, she bent down and heaved. Blood soaked her hands, and she struggled to carry any of the weight. Don supported most of the mass. His face went red as he heaved, making up for Juliet's weakness. They stumbled along through the debris, Juliet's knees buckling under the pressure. "Come on, Welland," Ekito hissed again. "You don't have time to rest." "He's right, it's just a little further," she berated herself. "You can't mess this up." Mustering more strength than she thought possible, she took on more of Feria's weight. The cool blood drizzled down her skin, sticking to every inch it touched. They pushed forward, dizzied by the smoke, their focus singular. After what felt like both no time and an eternity, they reached the shattered remains of the cafe. Juliet's knees burned, her calves feeling numb. Feria looked awful, an impossible amount of blood forming a trail between the crater and the cafe. Ekito led the way to the door. "Hurry up!" He squeezed in through a crack in the shattered wall. Don led the way, opening the door with his back. By the time they entered the building, Ekito was already in the kitchen, shouting at the terrified bakers and clerks. "Clear the oven! We've got a dragon!" Juliet blinked, confused as a clerk heaved Feria from her hands. They lifted her body as a pair of bakers threw a tray of muffins off the rack. Of course, to heal she'd need heat. "Get it as hot as you can. Don't let her heart go cold," Ekito commanded. Juliet wobbled over to help find what she could do to keep the fire lit. She could barely see Feria through the oven's window. People rushed back and forth in a panic. Even when they stopped, they still seemed to move and swirl. Juliet's vision got smaller as everything caught up with her. Juliet's head throbbed, once, twice. "You okay, Dolly?" she heard Dawn ask right before she hit the ground.
Oh no, Juliet.
The three spirits stood by the debris, watching the smoke billowing with the rest of the city. The black dragon still flew over the city, setting more fires, circling its edge. Lul sighed as he watched his magnificent building turn to ash. His collection of portraits and fine liquors only served to fan the flames. "This is your fault," Leah said as she watched the flames grow. "Leah, be nice. You know how much Lul likes his things," Aurora said in a not-so-quiet whisper. The fire had started suddenly, Nikki showing the building at least 3 full breaths of her flames. Luckily, the ruckus on the streets had them out before then. Even still, Aurora was adorned only in a bathrobe with too few armholes. It rested on her shoulders unclosed, providing a view that could cheer up even the most dismal of moods. "He let her run away, Aurora," Leah scowled. "And something tells me this wasn't Atalo's plan. I'm not facing his wrath for something you two did." Aurora flinched back, a tear brimming in her eye. "Children," Lul groaned. "No one's getting punished for anything. Got that? Aurora, you're going with Leah to wait at Vera Libra. I'll deal with things here." Leah said nothing, her mouth forming a thin line. Lul looked at her. What? You planned this, didn't you? I planned for my own house to burn to a crisp? Lul frowned. You know I love my things too much. It wasn't my turn to babysit Nikki. You're the one that dropped the ball. Leah grimaced, glancing back at Aurora. Why would you want to look after things then? Because you're awful with Nikki. I mean, look at what you let happen. Leah scoffed. I'm awfully great at killing dragons, though. And you think Italo would take kindly to that? Lul asked. Us killing each other? Leah's lip twitched, anger still brimming despite her slight retreat. No, I'm going to reason with her, and by reason, I do mean trick her into doing something more productive. In the meantime, you're not going to step on each other's toes. And yes, Leah, killing each other counts as stepping on toes. We'll get through this unscathed. For a moment longer, Leah said nothing, a fire sparking in her eyes. I suppose, if Lenora's gone, there's no reason to suspect a betrayal. Lul suppressed a twitch, biting back his anger. Taking a long breath, he smoothed his suit and walked away from the fire. Maybe it's you betraying your nature that continues to doom us all. Putting this on me? It was all Lenora's doing. You'd be scar-free if you managed to look away from her breast. Leah scoffed. Speaking of which, of all the spirits, why one so disgusting? Aurora gasped. Leah! What, you really wish to defend her? Aurora shook her head. Not her betrayal, but why right now? You have to understand how complicated this must be for Lul. Then maybe he shouldn't accuse me of causing this. Lul raised his hand, stopping Aurora from continuing on. It's
They're just
fine.
babies.
I'm not as sensitive to a joke. There's a reason I'm Italo's favorite. If you say so. I will, he smiled to her. Now, leave me Nikki. Alexandria sat on the castle wall, watching the dragon soaring in the distance. Closing her eyes, she leaned back, taking in long breaths of smoke and carnage. She listened to the sounds of the fallen. Their screams caused her heart to quicken, their agony sending pulses to her fingertips. It was like she was a child again, meeting the monsters for the first time. These are the fallen, the responsibility of the Shadow Sage, her mother had explained. One day, when I am gone, they will be yours to care for. Like a fox, Alex had thought at the time, and while her mother corrected her, she'd come to realize all animals were the same. Spirits, humans, and the fallen, all just beasts at her disposal. As she opened her eyes, she saw the dragon was nearer still. With a few beats of her mighty wings, Nikki was at the castle. She landed gracefully in human form, and bounced forward on tiptoes. The spirit laughed, enveloping her in a swirling hug. We did it! Nikki hopped joyously. Alexandria sturdied her stance, causing Nikki to lock in place. Did you? Is Astler dead? Dead as dead can be,
Go get some sleep.
She cheered. All hail the
No problem.
queens,
Thanks for stopping by.
Alexandria and Nikki. With a nod, Alex took up Nikki's hands and mimicked her smile. Excellent work, Nikki. You've earned a place among my court. And you a place among the Shadow Council, Nikki beamed. I'll put in a good word for you. When he's exterminating humanity, I'll make sure that you're left off the list. Without a second thought, Alexandria
That's what
shook her
girls do
head.
for each other.
She pressed her thumb against Nikki's palm. The gesture was a calming one, something she'd learned from watching her brother and Celine. It seemed to work, the spirit yielding to her touch and moving her body close. Are you all right, Alex? Yes, but I was wondering, what if Italo didn't wake? Alex asked softly. The smile on Nikki's face disappeared. She was expressionless. Why wouldn't he? Because we stopped him. Her eyes widened, moving back a step. We can't, if we failed. What, did we fail this time? No, Nikki blushed. But that's different. We're not getting in his way. When you fail Italo, it's very different. We're not doing it. I forbid it. You forbid it? Alex stiffened. Yes, now come on. Nikki yanked on her arm. We're going to have a celebratory dinner, my queen. You won't believe how excited I've been for this date. You're going to love it. Alex forced herself to smile. The spirit's energy was as wearisome as she remembered. As she watched the fire take the land, she wondered if a date could possibly compare. She softened her hand in Nikki's, relinquishing to the spirit's game. All right, Queen Nikki, where will we be dining tonight? The dungeon, my love. I found us a prisoner who is sure to entertain.
Alright, I think that's good. That's a good one. Almost been going 4 hours. Damn. Damn. Let's push you on out of here. Where should we go? Guess we could go to Leto. Alright. Lovely seeing you guys. I will see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.